Hello one and all, and welcome back to Final Drive Simulation. Hello one and all, and welcome back to Final Drive Simulation. Hello one and all, and welcome back to Final Drive Simulation. Hello one and all, and welcome back to Final Drive Simulation. Hello one and all, and welcome back to Final Drive Simulation.
Reality in virtual reality. Those split-second decisions. The sheer raw ability. Don't let the simulation detract from the racing. This is racing. This is
FDSR.
I am waiting Hello everybody, it's Final Drive Sim Racing Night, Thursday. We are back and we are live. And we come to you this week from a very dark part of Italy, as we do have a night race. And we are at Imola, probably my favourite circuit to drive. Probably not my favourite circuit on earth, but it's certainly my favourite to drive, particularly on this game. There's a bit of a track map there. Pretty old school track. Obviously it has been updated over the years. So we're a sprint race, so we're back to our sprint race format. 2 races, one 40 minutes, one 20 minutes. Standard qualifying session, and then a second qualifying session short, where there will be a random number of drivers between 5 and 10 who cannot qualify. And of course we have that reverse grid situation from that, and ballast applied as well tonight. And our commentary team, as always, is myself, Luke Dugdale will be along shortly, and Aaron Markham, whose name is still out of sync for some reason, even though I changed that earlier. But he is here, I promise. He sat with me. Dougie will be with us once he gets home from work. And but we have got Aaron. Welcome back, Aaron. We are a go again. 2 rounds left. The competition is heating up now, isn't it?
Yeah, this is it. Crunch time. And what better venue to have a potential broke or I don't know, hero to zero, I guess is what I'm going for. What better event to have a hero or zero time in the championship than Imola?
Yeah, indeed. I mean, it's quite the venue, isn't it? I mean, is it? I guess you've got lots of experience around you.
Yeah, one of my favourite tracks of all time. How you love the Nordschleife, I am obsessed with Imola, so this is my I've been really excited for this, and I was a bit gutted I missed on Tuesday's sprint, but hey ho, we move. I get to commentate instead and be a guy who pretends to know it all. Yeah,
well, no, I think you're doing yourself a slight disservice there, sir. I think you know enough. Only enough though. Only just enough, you know. Sorry, I'm just trying to sort out Weaver's stream, because I've got a little bit too much stuff going on here. Bear with me. There we go. That is the one. So we got a bit of Weavers tonight. That'll be good. We got a bit of Mooney as well, and typically his isn't working either. So let's get Mooney's up. Where is he? Mr. Mefferson. There we go. Cooking on gas, here we are, Aaron. Just getting people's streams set up, because they're late as always to the party, getting their streams up and running. So yeah, fantastic circuit. One I'm a huge fan of. And yeah, we are in the penultimate round now. Only 2 rounds to go. The championship is heating up nicely. So before we start to talk about some of the particulars of Imola, let's just take a look at the championship tables. We'll start with our 2 Sprint Tuesdays, which Aaron was absent for this week, but I'm sat there pretty in 5th in the championship, just ahead of Damien Humphreys and Darren Tickner. You missed it this week, mate. You missed a great race. So we had 18 drivers, which was fantastic, and plenty of action. There's no replay this week, because I've got a full-time job and I just haven't got time. But really interesting at the top of the championship there now, with drop scores kicked in. 2 rounds left at the end of the season next week at Misano, and there's only 12 points between Foster and Reed, so all to play for on the last week of the season. With full points available in those 2 rounds, so a nice exciting championship. And yeah, if I finish where I am, do you know what, I'll be absolutely delighted, because I didn't expect to be in the top 10. So if I finish top 5, I'll be very happy. Your top 10 still only 17 points away, so quite possible. If you can race this week, you'll have a shot.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, eh? Power rankings still being led by Foster by quite some margin. Of course, you get double points for poles, which is why those numbers don't add up to 19 on their own. So let us take a look at the drivers, and it is looking like Kingston's championship to lose still, but Reed is right in there with a shot, isn't he? So the gap there is, what is it, 52 points, so it's still doable. with what is there, 3 full races to go. So what's that, 190 points off the top of my head, or 195 points. So although that looks like a big gap, and it is, Reed is still right in with a shot there of winning this championship against Kingston.
Yeah, I mean, we both know never say never in sim racing. So with Ballast seemingly having a bit more of a stronger effect this season, we can't rule it out, but kind of needs, as we ran about earlier with the make or break, Hero to Zero, Lloyd could really do with a heavy outscoring of Kingston to give him a good shout.
Yeah, the difficulty is with the drop score system is it's hard to predict, isn't it? Because Kingston could have a stinker tonight and finish last twice, but then all that's going to happen is that his previous worst score, which is probably still not all that bad because he's got bags of talent, is probably just replace it and would nigh on equalise that gap out, wouldn't it? So it's a really difficult thing with drop scores, isn't it? You try to give that balance to people who can't make it every week, but at the same time, when you've got somebody as strong as Kingston, it doesn't make too much of a difference to their championship.
No, absolutely. We've seen that happen quite a few times in the touring car sim racing league over the years, and I'm sure it'll be as evident a key part of this championship tonight.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. Just looking at the teams there, Rad have now overtaken Baltec after last week. They had a couple of top 10 finishes, which has really helped their championship. So that is great to see, and it still in with the shot of winning as well. Adam Foster missing tonight, so he'll take this as a dropped round. So Rad with Adam missing tonight, absolutely in with the chance of winning the team's championship, which is great to see, and it'll be interesting to see how they get on tonight. They could do with both their drivers having some good solid sort of top 12, top 13 sort of finishes, and that'll really give them a shout at some good points, and maybe a shot at that team's championship heading into the final round, which would really spice things up for us. The power rankings are as follows. Again, Foster way out in front, shows how strong his pace has been this season, despite the fact that he has had some terrible races, and that is why he's not really in the championship fight heading into the final couple of rounds, which is seems strange to say of our double champion, doesn't it? But that is the situation we are with, and it shows that consistency absolutely is key. And positions gained there and lost. You see Paul Michael Mooney at the bottom there with minus 62, and Evans top with 54. Kingston not far behind 48, and that shows Kingston's ability. And this is the difference, I guess, isn't it, between Reed and Kingston. Reed with 30 places gained, Kingston with 18 more. That, Aaron, is the difference between him and the championship, isn't it? It's those race twos of these sprint mates where Kingston's able to pick his way through the field, and Lloyd Reed has had a couple of stinkers in the second race where he's been caught up in traffic, and that is basically what's made the difference to this championship so far. Yeah,
and I mean, Lloyd, one of the first guys, and very quick to point out that that's been his weak point this season, so no surprises there, really. We know that it's not quite gone his way in the second races. It seems that Kingston, maybe he's having the benefit of being able to experience last season going through the pack, has been able to carry that forward going into this season, whereas Lloyd might still be finding his feet in that circumstance. So that could explain it, but yeah, like you say, just probably lacking that tiny bit. If it was a championship of endurance, who knows? It could be the complete other way. It could be Lloyd at the top and Kingston chasing, but we'll never know. If, buts and maybes, should have, would have, could have, and all that sort of malarkey.
Yeah, indeed. And I mean, look, that's at the end of the day, you've got to get the job done, haven't you? And that's what Kingston has been absolutely superb at, is just that consistency, as we've said. a technical circuit, would you say? I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. Old school, as we said at the start. Technical circuit, in my opinion, there's plenty to be had. Is that how you would categorise it?
Yeah, I think it sometimes gets mislabeled as a not so technical track, and the only reason it becomes technical is more because of basically as soon as you can see that sector 1 start line on the track map, if you get it back up, if you ever do, basically from that point onwards it's a high downforce circuit, and it's just all about nailing every single corner. There's no respite for the car. It's complete throttle brake, throttle brake, throttle brake. It's just a really, really, really intense lap, and all of the undulations off camber corners, chicanes, hairpins, medium speed corners. It just makes it a really, 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 like you say, technical track. And I think a lot of people get tricked into trying to slim down the wings for that sort of, from the penultimate corner all the way up into Tamburello. But really, shouldn't be fooled into doing that because of how intense and how on it you have to be in the second and third sector.
Yeah, I mean, what I want you to do now is talk me through Aqua Minerale. Now, this on Tuesday night in the sprint races was causing drivers a lot of problems. So it's a downhill double right-hander into a sort of a left, and then you go down to the chicane, don't you? So talk us through it. Why are drivers having such trouble with Aqua Minerale?
Well, the tricky thing is you kind of have to brake. I mean, for the ultimate performance, you are braking whilst turning. And because you're braking whilst turning into a downhill off-camber corner, everything's working against the car to keep it on the road. All it wants to do is push itself off the track. So you almost have to go against your own will and brake earlier and sacrifice that entry speed so that you don't basically send yourself to the Shadow Realm in the first half of Aqua Minerale. The second part's even trickier because...
Okay, sorry to interrupt you. We're about to come down to it now with Damo Humphrey, so talk us through it.
Right, well, you can see here where Damo's placed the car there, and he's just understeered wide. So the second half of Aqua Minerale, you're trying to get the thing slowed down and pointed in because it's a low speed corner, and you're coming from such a high speed anyway. Now, the tricky thing is, you can't just mash the brake pedal because, like I say, even if you've gone a bit cautious, you will still send the rear because you're still descending and you're still off camber. Now, the second half of Aqua Minerale as well, with it being such low speed, you are mashing the throttle, hoping that the traction control keeps the thing pinned to the tarmac, whilst mounting curbs. It's just that entire segment of corner, from braking to turning to throttle, is trying to spin the car no matter what. So it doesn't matter how much talent you've got, you are really relying on being able to have a car that likes going over curbs, doesn't mind being bounced around a little bit, and is pretty settled under traction. Now, if you don't have one of those three, you will struggle and lose bags of time all night.
Yeah, and I it's one of those. I don't think I took the corner the same 2 times in a row.
Yeah,
it's one of those. It's really difficult to be consistent on, isn't it?
massively. I mean, I kind of, not to be that guy, but just because of how many times I've run this track, I do tend to find that I can do it okay, but I don't do it as fast as I probably could, more out of the consistency aspect instead of performance. Watching Lloyd there, very risky move mounting that curb in the first half as he flicks right, because if you get your braking point wrong, or if you brake in the wrong area, you won't even make the corner, you'll just spin. You'll go into the cat litter and it'll be race over. So it's unbelievably hard. And I think a corner that doesn't get enough mention as well is I think it's Torsa. It's basic. Oh no, it's the Rivazzas. The last 2 corners that we're building up to.
Yes.
Because you lose so much time on exit, if you don't get it right, you have to set yourself up for that long straight into Tamburello.
So, two BMWs top of the charts there. Why? Why are the BMWs? Why are the BMWs stronger around this circuit? Do you think?
So, knowing that the BMW is a front-engine car, we all know, and obviously some of the viewers will know as well, that a front-engine car loves going over bumps. It can attack curves, it can attack corners. It doesn't really affect the balance of the car. Imola has probably medium-sized curbs, but those curbs are everywhere. And because the BMW can go over every single one of them, that is why they are the fastest two things here. They can basically take less of the track than everybody else because of the way the car's designed.
Well, it looks like it's going to give us an exciting quali and some exciting sprint races as well, actually, because we're not used to seeing those two at the front of the timing charts. It'd be great to have a different race winner this season as well, as we come towards the end of the season. It's a bit unexpected. That'll also, if they're that quick, it'll make race 2 exciting for us as well. So, plenty to look forward to in the coming hour and a half. So here we go. Quali is starting then. You can see the drivers making their way out to start a lap. And it's a night race for the first race. Quali is at night. The race will take place at 5 o'clock in the morning, so it'll start dark and get a little bit lighter. And race 2 is at 8 o'clock in the evening, so I think it goes sort of dusk into night sort of situation. So different sorts of conditions for the drivers to contend with. I mean, the biggest difficulty I had, Aaron, from practicing by myself, not realising, to be honest, that they were night races on Tuesday, was my braking points. I mean, what is it? I mean, I know what it's like, but just explain to the people what it's like when you know a track so well. You've got that tree just off in the distance, so you use as your braking point, and there's pitch black and you can't see it.
Yeah, it's almost like trying to navigate around your house in the middle of the night. You know where everything is, but you haven't turned the light on, and you still bump into the sofa. You still bump into the door. It's just so clumsy. The headlights, as powerful as they might be, you're only seeing probably 10 meters max in front of you. So it's almost like a completely different type of driving. You rely a lot more on your instinct. You're relying on being able to acclimatise very quickly to the night conditions, because it's only going to get darker. It's not going to get brighter any soon. It's, I suppose my analogy of the living room at the middle of the night is perfect. It's just, you know everything about it, but you just can't quite see everything in the way that you should.
Right.
So, stuff that isn't within that 10-meter range of the headlights, good luck. Good luck trying to figure out where you're braking.
Well, take us through a lap then with Kevin DeHaan as he takes his first flying lap.
Sure. We join a little bit late as we go through Tamburello chicane, the first of many chicanes, building up into Villeneuve. You can't even see the entry of the corner. You're relying on that curb on the right telling you where you are. Managing to took a lot of the curb there over the speed bump, so a lot of the other cars can't do that as we build into Tosa. Very important to get a tight line and square off the corner, building up into Piratella. And Kevin struggling a little bit there. He had a little swap of oversteer, bit of dust there. Someone might have made a mistake. Very easy to run wide here at Piratella and get an invalid lap. So well, neat and tidy from Kevin DeHaan. Building into that tricky Aqua Minerale. You can see he missed the apex there. It's totally killed the corner for him. He ran wide and it's suffered his exit, building up into Variante Alta. Very, 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 very aggressive chicane. Need to take a lot of those yellow speed bumps, which the BMW has no problem doing. Collects the car nice and easy. Seems like a bit of a scruffy lap, but I don't think it'll be a slow lap. Imola often comes across like that. You kind of need to rag the car around. Building into the last two corners. Tricky downhill braking into, I can't remember the name of it, but the second last part of it, the left-hander. Oh, he's dipped a wheel in the gravel. That's going to kill his exit all the way to the line. What's he going to do, Mike, as he crosses it?
As he crosses the line, he is going to do a... Drum roll, please. An invalid lap because he breached track limits on 2 occasions. So he doesn't nothing.
I thought so.
He doesn't nothing. So at the moment then, Ant Brown, who's back with us again this week, is top of the timing charts with a 42.6. That was about race pace in the sprints for us. I have it on good authority because I saw it myself with my own eyes. That that Alex Kingston did a 141.7 in quali, which was nothing short of disgusting on Tuesday. So we know that the top 5 or 6 drivers are capable of a late 141. Whether we're going to see that, whether the conditions lend themselves to that. I mean, the track's 20 degrees, so there's plenty of heat in it without it being too hot. So there is plenty of opportunity for us to see a car into the 41s, and still 9 minutes of this qualifying session to go. Any bold predictions from yourself?
Do you know what? I think we'll see a Bart Tonks either top 5 finish. I know he's in the top 4 now for qualifying, but I think he could be a good shout for pole. I remember the first time that we might have been the first time I joined you in the comms box. He was fighting for the win. He's no slouch here. He's been in the BMW that entire time, and you know, I just think with the circumstances, and we've seen that glimpse of pace this season, there's no reason why he couldn't be at the top.
Absolutely. Absolutely agree with you, 100%. Interested to see how this man gets on today, Chris Carr. Getting to know him a little bit, new driver to the league, and speaking to him a little bit. And interesting, you know, he's chosen the Porsche. Much like us, he's not much enjoying it, although he does appear to have slightly more talent than you and I are, and I'm sure you won't mind me saying that. Although he's breached track limits in it there, so this lap isn't going to count for anything. But yeah, interesting. You know, Porsche not his normal car of choice. Thought he'd give it a go for this championship, and yeah, interesting to see how he gets on compared to me, really. See just how talentless I am. But yeah, he's driven really well since he's joined the league, to be fair to him.
He has, and I don't know if he's with us tonight. I mean, I can't see him in the leaderboard, so I could only assume not. But Mati Zinchenko, fantastic as well in the Porsche. Both guys equally as talented as each other, as it seems, because they both seem to put the car in a relatively good qualifying position. But a little bit sad that I missed Tuesday, because I'd say on ACC, Imola's probably the best track for me in terms of pace. What a lap from Carr, P2. Still half a second off Brown though. Seems to be in a league of his own, Brown.
He does. I'm surprised. I thought he breached track limits at the top of the hill there, but clearly he didn't go far enough wide to quite do it. But we'll keep an eye on him. But yeah, as you say, still a massive gap to Ant Brown. And like I said, I mean, based on Ant Brown's pace being close to his friend and confidant Alex Kingston, he's as I was about to say, he's definitely got a 41 in him. He goes and does a 41. Yeah, that's literally what I was about to say. You know. Based on Kingston's pace on Tuesday, he's definitely got a 41 in him. Kingston not, because Kingston's now got ballast on board tonight, obviously. But yeah, Ant Brown there into the 41s and a full second clear of the next best car. And yeah, there we go. What do you say to that?
Absolutely scary.
Bonkers. Yeah,
scary amount of pace.
It is. I don't think anybody's going to touch that in the next 5.5 minutes. But you know, I would love nothing to be proven wrong. Yeah, go on.
So last season, Kingston and Ingle smashed it in an Aston Martin, and then we come to this season and nobody's in one. Ant Brown turns up and he's streets ahead of everyone else. Why is no one gone in the Aston?
So I think people get bored. It's the only thing I can think of is that drivers are like, oh, I want to challenge myself now and take on a new car. And I suppose, it's good for them. They've got the talent to do so. But what I will say is, Kingston did that time on Tuesday. Or within half a tenth of that time on Tuesday in the Merc. So I don't know if for these guys with all this talent, whether the car is all that dependent. I don't know whether they can just do it in any car. But it's a good question. It was such a dominant car last season. Why did nobody go with it this season? I haven't got the answer. I honestly haven't got the answer. Not a clue.
I have a little sort of... I was at work. This is completely off topic, but I think you'll like this. So today I had a wow, I'm getting old moment as I was listening to F1 testing all day. With my earphones in, and a certain Australian F2 driver decided to hop into the comms box with Crofty. It was a certain guy by the name of Jack Toohan. Now, that might not mean a lot to you, but his dad Mick, fantastic motorbike rider, won multiple championships.
Yeah, indeed.
Now Jack Toohan used to race in British Formula 4, and one evening when I was at Croft, I had the pleasure of actually talking to Jack and walking with him as he was getting ready to do one of the sprint races of the weekend. And it just made me think, oh my God, he was 14 and now he's on the verge of Formula 1. And it was the most crikey, what am I doing with my life moment I've ever had at work.
Oh, well, I know. As we established last week, you haven't even seen the wedding singer. I mean, you haven't lived. You've done nothing with your life. No, absolutely nothing at all. No, I know. I mean, I was a bit like that. I mean, it's similar but different story in that at the Formula 1 in 2019, which was Lando's debut season, I believe.
Yeah.
I got to meet him, and I'm a huge McLaren fan, and I've been, since I was a nipper, and I was all fanboy, and I was like, hang on, I'm twice this kid's age, like. It's just sort of, it dawned on me, do you know what I mean? When you're growing up and you're in your teens and you look at these Premier League footballers and Formula 1 drivers and everything, they're so much older than you. It's almost like from a respect as well as an admiration thing. And I was like, I haven't changed, but I'm twice the age of what I think I am in my head when I think about like sports stars and things. So anyway, it's similar sort of story, but they're slightly different because I'm an old fart. But there we go. Just a nice little anecdotal thing there while we're waiting for quali to hot up. Although I think all the excitement has really been taken away from us by the fact that Ant Brown's done a 141.5, which looks like nobody's going to be anywhere near at the moment. Kevin DeHaan 6/10 off that, and I mean, you'd have to be a brave man to bet against Stan Brown taking pole and victory as it stands, but still plenty to play for to get onto the front row. Kevin DeHaan has that second slot at the moment, but Kingston's currently up on his time. Chris Carr's up on his time as well. Wes Beaco's also out there, although not improving at the moment, so still plenty to play for with regards to that front row, but I cannot see anybody beating that Ant Brown time. It is just another league, another world to everybody else. Kingston doing very well though. Looks like he's about to dip into the 141s if he carries on this pace, although he has just lost time through Aqua Minerale. But we'll keep an eye on him as he comes towards the end of his lap. And a nice mixed grid out there. What we didn't need though is Lloyd Reed, who's down in 7th, and it looks like he's struggling to match the pace of the top guys. Also has a fair amount of ballast, the second amount of ballast out there, 25 kilograms, 30 for Kingston. But we really need Lloyd to be finishing ahead of Alex to make this championship as interesting as possible. Carr has gone up to second then with a 42.2. Kingston up to 4th now with a 42.3. Kevin DeHaan still in 3rd at this point. Wes in 5th now. There are only 30 seconds to go, so anybody who's about to cross the line or has already crossed the line will get to finish their lap. Very similar to what you would see in Formula 1. So car is improving. No, go for it.
No, I'll let you carry on, Mike, and then I'll butt in. Car is improving, yes.
Car was improving, and he's now lost. Well, according to my screen, he was. He's invalidated his lap. He's invalidated. That's why he's gone grey. Boo, indeed. So I thought maybe because he was over 3/10 up just through the first sector, so it looked like maybe he had it, but he hasn't. Unfortunately, that isn't going to happen for him. Who is improving? Luke Barnard's improving. This could put him up a couple of positions here. He's currently 9th. He crosses the line. Luke Barnard goes up to 6th. So good progress from him. Lloyd Reid down in 9th. That's not what he needs for this championship. I mean, I'm sure he won't be too disappointed with that. But yeah, it looks like it's an uphill battle for Lloyd Reid, but he needs all the points he can get, and he needs Alex. He needs to finish ahead of Alex, simple as that. And
and he goes P2,
and he does go P2, not quite into the 41s, but about 4/10 down on what he was doing on Tuesday. But obviously, with the extra 30 kilograms on board, that is where that extra pace has gone. But what's scary is even with 30 kilograms as ballast, he's still the second fastest man out there, which is quite scary, really. But yeah, there we go. That is that. Quali done. I just heard a little plonky plonk of somebody coming into our comms box. Who we got, Aaron?
Don't talk about my plonky plonk.
I was about to say I'll give you 1 pence if you can guess who's joined us, because he joins us every week. It's Mr. Richard Arnold. Hey,
That's how the crowd goes wild, but it's silent. Absolutely silent. So well, there we go. Yeah, exactly. That's it. Oh look, the sun's out. Isn't that interesting? How are we doing?
Good, mate. Good. We were looking at the teams championship actually, and wow, you look like you could quite easily come away with as team champions this season. I bet you never thought that going into it.
Oh yeah, be careful what you wish for. I mean, we love a team championship, you know. The issue is we're both on holiday next week. So yeah, we're both going skiing to the wonderful Alps, which is I'm very much looking forward to. But it kind of puts my designs of the championship to bed slightly because of where the drop scores are going to come in and stuff. So yeah, we could be looking pretty good. But apart from that, if it was going to end tonight, we'd be fine. If we could just end it now, it'd be great. But no, I think, yeah, as I say, it'd be pretty tough. I think Rosano's going to be strong for quite a few people, so it's going to be a really good race in Rosano. It's a shame we're missing it, really, and it was looking like we were going to be okay by one day, but it all got shifted back a bit, and yeah, unfortunately, we're not going to be here. So, but that aside, yeah, championship's looking really good, isn't it?
Still a valiant effort. I mean, you're not that far behind off P1, so I think if you have a really strong evening tonight, you never know. You could go your way. It might not, but it could.
Things I wanted to sort of achieve this season. One was obviously me and Alan have been in the Honda for
30 seconds.
For a while now, and a load of other drivers came on board with it, and we just wanted to give the Honda a good showing. We didn't want to be car 4 and 5 out of the 5, and I think if it wasn't for the drop scores and not being here next week, I think we'll probably end up being car 2 and 3. So that's pretty good. And secondly, this is the last season where I'm going to be learning a track. I've what we've done tonight. I know them all, so that's also an added bonus. So that's what I was hoping for. Just get through the season and learn the tracks that I didn't know, because that does become a struggle when you're practicing. But yeah, other than that, we've had a pretty good season.
No, that's fair enough.
All I will say, right, is I know a couple of pretty handy Honda drivers. So if we get Dougie just to do the comms on his own next week, and you and Alan send us your Steam logins. You could be there without being there. Maybe we could make something work on that.
That sounds like a plan.
Sort of like
put a Welsh flag on the roof.
Yeah, like when Michael Schumacher was the Stig, but he wasn't the Stig sort of situation. Or when James May uses the Stig sneakily and nobody notices.
It could work.
I'm sure we can come to some sort of agreement.
It would be a shame to miss it, wouldn't it? Let's be honest. So.
Yeah, if you're there but you're not there, who would know? No one would know, apart from the fact we've just broadcasted it to the world. But they'd have to prove it first.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
Absolutely.
Yes. Plenty of points on offer though. Only one set of points on offer next week. 2 sets of points on offer tonight. So that championship is still up for grabs. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's still alive. We've just got a bit of a handicap coming. So anything can happen, as we know in this league. And if things all happen, disconnects like last week, that screwed us a little bit. Adam has another terrible one and ends up hurting himself, and Dan doesn't score big points. Then who knows what might happen? It's all still playful.
Yeah, I mean, I raced against Alan round here on Tuesday. He's got plenty of pace. He managed to stay in front of me all of race 1. So I'm sure he's looking forward. You're already in the top 10. Double top 10 finishes have got to be your aim, I guess.
Absolutely, it always is at the moment. I think that's kind of where we're at, and a double top 10 for the team is consistently good and where we want to be. No doubt Anna's quick round here. I only drove round here for the first time on Wednesday, so I'm certainly a novice, but I'm feeling semi-good about the track. But Alan's out of place, to be honest. He's a lot quicker than that. So expect to see him try and making some moves, and I won't be getting in his way.
Well, best of luck. 2 exciting races coming our way, and we'll speak to you in a little bit, no doubt.
Yeah, I'll come back for the random grid generator.
Yes,
so
of course.
See you back then.
Of course. We will. We'll see you then.
Cheers, boys. See you in a bit.
See you in a bit. There we go. Richard Arnold joining us as always. Just if you're wondering, guys, why Rich is the one who always joins us, is because obviously you need a hotkey setup so you can jump from one chat to another. Without being able to switch screens over and all that kind of thing, and Rich is the only person with that setup actually done. Well, Rich and Adam, but obviously Adam isn't racing tonight. So here we go. We got an exciting grid out there. The Aston Martin out in front, then from the Mercedes. They're just coming towards the end of their warm-up lap now.
I have an answer on why no one's gone in the Aston.
Let me guess. Is Dominic Ingle in the chat?
No, he's not. But speaking with Josh Redhead and Graham Morris, they were saying that a lot of people had the fear of God that it was going to get nerfed, I think.
Like most fast cars do, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So here we are. The guys are just coming around now down towards the start-finish line. And then this race will be underway. So we are getting ready to go. And interesting grid out there. 4 different manufacturers in the top 4. 5 in the top 6. That's what we like to see. Plenty of variation. So here we go, coming towards the start finish straight now. They've just passed the line, so waiting for that green light. It's moments away. And there it is. Brilliant. And Alex Kingston with an absolutely storming start. And Ant Brown absolutely nowhere, getting swarmed. There's a Honda off on the grass here in the background. As we head down in the first corner, and there goes Kingston through. Kevin DeHaan up to second now. Luke Barnard up to third. Ant Brown down to fourth. Terrible start from him. He did well only to lose that many positions in the end. Oh, the Honda really wide of... God, what's his name? We were just talking to him. Richard. Yeah, just getting really wide there in the background. Damien Humphries now up to 10th. Chris Carr's lost loads of positions off the start. He's down to 8th position now. I think he got caught up in all that nonsense with Ant Brown and people just swarming all over the place trying to get round him. But I don't think we've had any major contact from what I've seen. Alan Davis has lost a couple of positions. He's down a little bit. So we have had a couple of accidents off the start. We can just take a quick look at them. This is the first one, so we're just going to take a quick look at this. No, it's not working. That thing I said was going to work isn't working.
Oh, I think it's trying.
It's flashback to the race start rather than. So it doesn't work for accidents. It only works for best laps, and you can rewatch the start for 10 seconds. But yeah, we got to see just how wide everybody was there from another angle there. Look at that, it's just like an absolute swarm of bees. 23 cars out there, and it's not the biggest of circuits, but there we go, back to the live action now. So Kingston completes the first lap then out in front from Kevin Hahn, and then Luke Barnard close behind him as well, using the slipstream to stay in touch in the Rick and Morty Ferrari. What will be interesting, particularly this longer race, is whether that ballast will have an impact on the tyres towards the end of the race, and perhaps these two drivers can get even closer then to Kingston as his tyres go off with that ballast on board.
Agreed. We have a in lieu of Ted Brundle, we now have Graham Morris in the YouTube chat. He's saying that he thinks Ant was in the wrong map engine-wise.
Absolute nightmare. Absolute nightmare. There was a little bit of touching between these guys. Yeah, just a little nudge there. They did well to keep it to only that, but that was just worth a little look. Humphrey's getting super wide there. As they come down towards Aqua Minerale. Humphreys had a nice spin through there on Tuesday, which was fine for me because I was right behind him, so I got to overtake him. But he'll be hoping that doesn't happen again. But that Jag looking quite feisty in these in the hands of Alex McGee in these early phases of this race. He's looking quite punchy, and he qualified quite well as well. 13th, I think he started, if I remember right. No, 15th, sorry, he started, up to 12th already, so he's looking good in the Jag, which is what we like to see. Plenty. Just realised I haven't changed that to race gaps. No, I have. He's on fire. Fastest lap of the race, a 1:42.9 on the first full flying lap from Alex Kingston. I love it. It took me basically 2 20-minute races to get to the point where I was in the 42s, and he just does it with his first lap with a car full of fuel and 30 kilograms on board. It just shows how little talent I have. But there we go. Chris Carr's lost another position. Oh, he's struggling out there, really struggling for pace, and he's lost out to Humphreys, and is now under pressure from Arnold as well. I'm wondering what happened there. Let's just take a quick look at the replay and see.
I know he got mugged. He got mugged going down the straight off the Audi.
Yeah, it looks like he just had no pace coming out of the last corner. And as me and you can contest to, that car has absolutely zero. Oh, and Brown falling down the order.
Oh! Wonder what's happened. Must have had a little spin.
Yeah, I mean, he's down in 13th place now. Bart Tonks has dropped that way down as well. So I'm wondering whether there was a bit of contact between the two of them. It shows an accident for Tonks, so that would make sense. Doherty's and Copeland have had a bit of contact as well. Let's just see if we can catch that. So this is Copeland and Doherty. Yeah, it looks like they're just going to try and go side by side. This is a replay, sorry guys. Yeah.
Wow.
Side by side.
It's going to end in tears.
Yeah, that was just never going to work, was it? And unfortunately,
surprised it wasn't worse than what it was.
Indeed. Oh, Lloyd Reed has spun out. Oh,
no!
He must be absolutely kicking himself. Let's take a look at what happened to Lloyd. This is the replay. So I'm trying to figure out where he is on track. He's heading down towards the last double left-hander, isn't he? What's it called? Oh,
that's a technical error.
I think wheel disconnection or something, because he just went in a straight line, didn't he, and just pulled off the circuit. Absolutely bonkers. Is he? I wonder if he. I can't select him, so I think he's.
Oh no!
Oh no! It's a disconnect. It was a disconnection because he's gone from the lobby. So he's completely disconnected, and during that we've missed Barnard being overtaken. So let's just see. Oh, Barnard with a mistake. Oh, going through the second chicane, I believe that is, isn't it? And
Yeah, that's Villeneuve, that.
yeah, and yeah, makes a mistake. Off he goes, and that has cost him third at the moment. So Wes, who drove superbly well in last week's race and kept us guessing all the way to the end, didn't he? And took his first victory of the season. Looking quite punchy again today, and looking like he might have a victory in him again. You never know. Tonks.
Got to fancy his chances with Kingston in the lead instead of Ant Brown.
Yeah, absolutely. So Damien Humphries will finish 4th in race 2 on Tuesday after spinning out of race 1. I think he still finished top 10 of race 1 despite that spin that I was describing earlier. Looking consistent, looking like he's got half decent pace. Currently up in 6th. I think there's been more contact. Well, look at that for a gaggle of cars. Absolutely bonkers.
Might want to stick with it.
I think we are going to stick with it. I'm not going to bother looking at the replay. There has been some contact between pretty much...
Oh my god.
all 5 of these drivers have all hit each other at some point in the last couple of minutes. That's all you need to know. But look at this. There's all sorts going on here. You can see Dave Wood in the background there. Getting close to that. Ambrose touched him. Ambrose touched him. Round he goes. Oh, what was that? Brown thinking, sticking his nose in there. That looked a little bit off to me. I don't think Brown surely didn't think he was going to make an overtake stick through there. Or maybe he did, and I'm just talking absolute nonsense. I don't know, but that's put Dave Wood down to last in our favourite livery, which is a shame. Well, where's that battle gone? Here we go. Oh no, that's not the one. This is the one. So you've got Balsili from Mooney, from Copeland, from Doty. Big snap.
Sorry, big snap.
No, that was a big snap. Indeed. Carr, Humphries and Tonks all close together as well, trying to watch as much action as possible. I think we've actually got Scott. Yeah, this is the view from Balsili. I'm trying to think what else we have got tonight. We haven't got everyone. Mooney, we got Mooney, so Mooney's chasing Balsili, although it's a black screen at the moment. So let's
there we go.
Let's rectify that. There we go. And there we go. So we can see Mooney's battle with Balsili while we go behind to the Copeland battle. So you're watching Copeland battle away with Mooney. Well, on your screen you can see there Mooney battling away with Balsili. 3-way battle, 2 different camera angles. What fantastic technology we have available to us. I'm just going to skip up to the Rich Arnold McGee battle because McGee's actually taken Arnold, and McGee now up into 9th place. Absolutely fantastic drive so far from Alex McGee in the Jag. I've never seen anybody use the Jag in a league situation. Only only in joke races, basically. So yeah, I mean it's strange, isn't it, when you see somebody using a car nobody else would use.
Yeah, but I love it, and it kind of makes me root for them because I think I had it with Dom Ingle when he was in the Bentley, or the Boatley, I think he used to call it. So it's nice to get a bit of variety, isn't it? And especially see something we hardly ever get on the grid. I think even Copeland in the Lexus. Oh, as I say, that Copeland's got past. I think it was Mooney, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was, and yeah, Mooney's lost a couple of positions out of that. There we go. He struggles a little bit for consistency, it seems, in that Honda, but although he's faster in that car than he is any other. Just moving forward now towards the front of the grid, and Wes Beekhouse still battling away with his fellow countryman Kevin DeHaan, both in the BMWs, who top in practice, the BMWs, but not quite able to match that pace in practice and race trim. But as we said, this race is far from over because there's a lot that can come from the ballast impact in the race at the end. So Kingston with the most ballast with 30 kilograms on board. We could well see these cars come back towards him later on. So Lloyd Reed has made it back into the lobby, I'm pleased to say, although he is 3 laps down on everyone else. So fair play to him for coming back, but it's pretty much game over for the championship, you'd have to say, if Kingston wins and Reed finishes last, which barring a complete disaster for most people he is going to. That is that. So we rejoin then the battle for 9th place, and this is Rich Arnold in the Rad Honda versus McGee in the...
Oh, Mooney's plummeting down the order, Mike. He's spun out.
He's had a spin. Let us just take a quick look at the replay and see what has happened to him.
The Piratella. Strange place to spin.
Yeah, just taking a look and seeing what has happened to him. I'm assuming through the left-hander he has gone a bit wide and hit the curb. Oh no!
Oh, it took way too much speed.
Yeah, I mean the car was gone before he got anywhere near the curb. So
I think I know what happened. I think he'll have, you know, when you kind of like, you realise you've missed the braking zone and you panic downshift and it locks the rears.
Yeah.
I think that's what's happened.
Okay, Arnold has got past McGee. I'm going to see if I can see the replay. So they're coming down towards Aqua Minerale. I've had to guess when it happens because and I think I've got it spot on. McGee gets Aqua Minerale slightly wrong. And through goes Rich Arnold, up into 9th. Oh, I got a replay right, Aaron. Hey! That was a custom replay that I guessed when it happens, and I got it right. So awesome stuff. I believe our colleague has joined us, has he?
Yeah, he has. I was just about to cue him in. You beat me to it.
Oh, sorry. I heard the plonk, but so much has been going on. The plinky plonk did come in my ear, but it's been so busy I haven't had a chance to say hello. Hello, Dougs. How's it going?
Hello. Not too bad yourselves?
Oh, good, mate.
Good.
Everything. it's action packed, yeah. Action packed. But yes, it's all happening. McGee's back past Arnold now. We missed that while we were talking about something. It's all happening here. It's all happening. So it's just bonkers. So McGee and Arnold having a right old ding dong here. They've switched positions numerous times. He's just got no business being that quick in that Jag, but he is, and fair play to him. But let's have a look further down the order, see where people are. Alan Davis settled down in 14th. We were saying earlier he needs a top 10 finish, really.
He was with a mistake. Sorry, I'm just watching it in the bottom left. He went a little bit deep in the rally.
Yeah, no problem. That's all right. That's what it's there for, so we can see as much action as possible. Beerhouse still pretty close to Dahan, but not able to make it in. Oh, Richard Arnold's off. Richard Arnold off. He's made a mistake, and we will just take a look at the replay and see what happened here with Richard Arnold and how he ended up off the circuit. So he's coming down towards turn 1. Too much curb. Unsettled the rear with a bit too much curb, and that is what that leads to. You can't afford to unsettle a car like the Honda, can you? It's the mid-engine cars, isn't it, Aaron? They just don't like curbs.
No, you kind of have to attack. You can attack the curbs, but you can't be turning whilst attacking the curbs. You need to be really, really, really light with your input. Otherwise, that happens, and you get punished for it.
Something's gone wrong because everybody shows. Paul Prescott has jumped to the pit, so he showed everybody lost a position. Ignore that. That isn't the case. Paul Prescott has jumped to the pit, so everybody it chucks him in first, basically, when that happens, which is strange. There goes Rich Arnold. Oh,
it's too deep.
He tried his best to get later on the brakes, and he just got it a little bit wrong.
Am I going to set up Anne Brown though?
It's
all over the back.
It might well do. Here he goes down into turn 1. He's definitely got a speed advantage over Scott Balseeley, and through he goes. This, of course, where he tapped a car not that long ago. There's been a lot of argy-bargy out there. The log that shows me how many accidents there've been is so long that I have to scroll up and down it. And bearing in mind it fits about 30 incidents onto a page, and I have to scroll up and down. So there's been a lot of contact out there, which is not necessarily a good thing. But it's proper close, I guess, which is a good thing. Tonks versus Car now. So we're at the wonderful setting of Imola. Dougie, have you done much running around Imola yourself?
I've actually done a bit of running on ATC round Imola myself, actually. So I've actually got a bit of experience.
Oh. Any particular parts of the circuit you like or dislike, or both for that matter?
The straights, because I never get them wrong. To be fair, I do quite like the first corner into a bit of a chicane. You trying to carry the speed through. Quite enjoy. It's quite technical in a way. You got to try. It feels weird. You got to try and carry speed through while getting it slow enough that you don't obviously end up in gravel as well.
Yeah.
It's about momentum. It's a weird track. One of them. You can carry momentum, but you can't carry too much at the same time. I don't know how I'm trying to get my words out, but I'm trying my best.
No, I know what you mean. Wes Bierkos into the pits. I'm not sure if that is for track limits. Oh no, he's left the server. He's gone. It's showing on my system that Wes Bierkos has gone. Oh, and another driver has as well, but down from 23 to 21. I'm not sure what is happening. I'm hoping it's not a server crash of some sort. Rich Arnold's had an off the circuit as well. He's got a white flag, but he seems to have settled down now. Behind Balseeley. Who have we lost then? So we've lost... I can't work it out. We've definitely lost Wes Bierkos. He's gone. Can't see who else has gone, but someone has. No, it's not standing out to me. Not at all. Bart Thompson might be actually. Oh no, there he is. He's in 5th. No idea. Somebody's gone anyway. Not important. What is important are the drivers we do have out there. Oh, big mistake there from Tonks. Speak of the devil, and he shall make a mistake. So Chris Carr also made a mistake, also wasn't able to take advantage of that. Watching this battle now between two of drivers that are driving the only versions of those cars on the circuit. The Lexus RCF, driven by Josh Copeland, versus Alex McGee in the Jerk. And are we going to see a move down into... Oh, I was going to say then, is he going to be late enough on the brakes? But he doesn't feel confident enough to get that Lexus stopped. So he slots in behind, but he'll have a lovely slipstream down the start-finish straight now, won't he, Doug?
Yeah, definitely. He'll be able to get over speed on him and hopefully make a move into turn 1.
Drum roll, please. Brrr. Oh, nearly a little change. Oh, he's squeezing him to the grass. It's going to be tight. We see contact into Tamburello. Oh, it's done.
Side by side.
Oh, is it done? Yeah, it's done. It's done.
He just gets it done.
I got very nervous there.
He did very well. Great close net driving from the both of them there, and they both did very well to get through that without making any contact.
Also, just to confirm, there isn't any server issues. Wes has just said he can't continue race tonight, but have fun.
He can't continue racing
tonight. I don't know what particular reason. He says that I've stopped the race. I cannot continue tonight. Have fun.
Oh, okay. Well, hope you're okay.
Nothing too serious.
Yeah, hope you're okay, mate. As long as you're okay, that's all that matters. But 'tis a shame, of course. We were hoping to see you battle away for victory, but alas, it is not to be. What is to be is the drivers we have left. So Kingston looking pretty formidable out in front, just past the halfway mark. He still leads by 3 seconds from Kevin DeHaan, but as we say, are those tyres going to go off in the last 10 minutes with that ballast on board? Will DeHaan then get the opportunity to take a victory? We do not know. They're pretty much matching each other lap for lap, so it's going to take some degradation or a mistake for DeHaan to get into that. And Brown has now overtaken McGee. We'll just take a quick look at the replay and see how he's got that done. McGee with a mistake there out of the chicane. And Brown just gets himself alongside and through he goes. And that was that. But McGee, given as good as he's getting, still trying to come back at him, but Brown, plenty of experience, just carries on through and heads up after the Lexus. Right, so where are we? I'm looking. It's just all kinds of bonkers out there. There's so much going on. Is this a track that is particularly heavy on tyres? I'm just thinking of tyre wear with those that have ballast. Is it a particularly heavy track, Aaron, for tyre and fuel usage?
I can't quite remember what it was like when we drove in the NSXs. I think I don't think it's terrible. I mean, looking at the tracks we've done already this season, Silverstone seems to have been the worst in Zandvoort. I think if anything's going to take a battering, it'll be the right front, and probably it'll be the right front on the BMW. But I think generically, it's probably nothing that the guys aren't used to. I think there certainly won't be any tyre saving, and there certainly won't be any fuel saving. So I think, yeah, I don't really think it'll be an issue. I could be chatting complete waffle, but I can't see it being that big of a problem.
No, I mean the tyres will generally last about an hour, you know, without too much degradation for most. Yeah, it's just different tracks are, you know, different levels of abrasiveness for tyre wear. But we're watching now Dave Wood as he makes a move on Dan Stevens, goes up the inside. Stevens gives him plenty of room, and the South Park branded Lamborghini goes up into 15th position. That was a good one, wasn't it, Doug? Nice and PDF.
It was very PDF that one.
Just how we like it. Did Stevens make it a bit easy for him there, do you think, Aaron? Could he have fought a bit harder, or was that just the position that Dave Wood forced him into?
No, I think Send Your Chicken Lips placed the car exactly where he needed to be there, and did everything he just needed to do.
We needed to find out. I know if you're going to call him Senor, I know chicken's Piolo, isn't it? So what's lips in Spanish?
It would be Senor Pollo.
Lipio?
Oh, my GCSE Spanish teacher is cursing right now.
Oh, I never took Spanish. Right, so we are back with the battle between Ant Brown and Josh Copeland. Ant Brown having to battle his way back through the field after qualifying on pole, having a dreadful start. We're told he was in the wrong engine map from the start, which of course meant that he lost about 3 positions off the start, and then he had some contact which put him down to, I think it was about 13th at the time, where he's fought his way back up to 9th as it stands. It's all settled down a bit. It's quite strung out, isn't it, for a sprint race? There's big gaps between most of the drivers, which is unusual. We're used to seeing it a lot closer than this, aren't we?
Do you think it's just do you think the track kind of lends itself to becoming spread out? We'll go along straights and then obviously.
It's possible, yeah. I mean, we were discussing before when we are in, but some corners on this are so difficult to get right lap after lap after lap, and like somewhere like Nürburgring or Silverstone, which is quite easy to be consistent on. This is one of those tracks where there's not a natural flow, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at. So we were discussing that when we are in.
It's easy to learn, but hard to master, isn't it?
Yes.
Like, once you've done a couple of laps, you know where you're going, but mastering it's hard.
So I'm wondering whether drivers are having trouble being consistent and therefore keeping pace with each other, particularly in dirty air.
It's more this zone here, Doug, and I think you'll vouch for this in touring cars. Aqua Minerale, where we're looking now, it's just so tricky to get it right. Yeah,
especially coming up over the crest of a hill as well.
Well, even Ant Brown got it wrong there, and he's got far more talent than me, so you know, it goes to show it can happen to even the best. But there we go, it does happen nonetheless. There's the track map there for you, just to show you what that actually looks like. Give you an idea of the challenge that the drivers are undertaking. But Ant Brown, he's just having a little look, but he thinks better of it. Copeland not afraid to get his elbows out and make his presence known, is he?
Definitely not. I think he's going to make his presence known even more down the straight now.
Yeah, this is going to be difficult to defend, though. Ant Brown does seem to always get a really good exit out that last corner, which is imperative down this long straight. But he's just got the inside line, so I'm sure he's going to be later on the brakes. There he is, but Copeland not giving it away. He powers through the corner. They're side by side. Through the right, through the left,
Good
still
respect.
side by side. Absolute respect driving. This is going to be Ant Brown's corner now, mind, unless Copeland can do something special. He thinks better of it, but he will have a better exit now, and he has. You can see he launches the car. Oh, but they've made contact!
Oh, no.
Contact made. He launched the car so well out of that corner.
Ant Brown should have left the room. I'm sorry, I'm going to say that on stream right now. He should have left the racing room knowing that was coming.
Yeah, I think we should just take
was
another.
off.
Oh,
Background.
moment in the background, sorry.
So,
Someone totally died in the background.
We're just going to take a quick look at the replay just to see that again. And yeah, he's closed the door on him there, but I think Ant Brown has not realised how good an exit Josh Copeland had, because Ant Brown obviously was compromised, wasn't he, into the chicane, which meant Copeland had a much better line, a much better exit, and I think it was Lloyd Reed who died in the background there. Ant Brown just did not expect Copeland to be there on the inside, so not intentional, but he certainly did close the door on the Lexus.
You know what, Mike? I'm going to be that guy. I am going to cause controversy. I don't usually do this on stream, but I could see that coming a mile off, and I'm just thinking how Ant Brown did. And I know that we like to stay neutral and stuff, but I was just thinking at Copeland, I'd launch it up the inside now. And if I was Ant Brown, I'd just be thinking, I'm going to stay exactly on that line where you want to launch it. And he didn't really. He left the door open.
Oh,
He
contact
far too
again.
late. It's very clumsy, isn't it, tonight? I just...
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'll zip it. I'll zip it before I get myself in trouble.
No, it's too late now. You've started, so I'll let you finish.
Keep on digging.
No, there is a lot of contact out there tonight. Like I say, I mean, I don't know how many accidents are in this list, but I could count them if you want. 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28 bits of contact.
Yikes.
In the list from the log that I have via the software we use. So, I mean, some of it just innocent door-to-door stuff, but some of it a little bit silly as well. Oh, Humphreys has had an off. He's a little bit on his own, so I think he should be okay. But yeah, just a little bit of getting a little bit out of shape through the chicane there. But he carries on to live another day. Yeah,
I suppose.
No, go on, mate. Go for it.
I was just say we got Ant Brown's situation with saying should we have to go room. I think it's sort of worked itself out because Ant Brown kind of lost out in the long run because Copeland's obviously ended up ahead and then he's lost a race to Copeland as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my
God. He just seems. Ant Brown just seems desperate, almost. As if the championship's on the line, and he's not even in the championship because he joined halfway through the season. So
I think.
He's on the tables, but he's not in the fight. Like,
I think for someone who's qualified on pole and clearly has like half a second on the rest of the field, just take your time. You've clearly got the pace. You'll get past at some point. I often think that I had a stinker last week in TCSRL, and I think it's because I got frustrated. So I can empathise with how Ant maybe feels, struggling off the start, but. The best thing to do, if you know you've got the pace, just stay behind someone and let them crack. Because look at what happened last week with Wes and Lloyd. And eventually they will crack. Even if it's the last lap, just keep the pressure on. He doesn't need to go for moves like that.
Do you tend to look like that, Doug? Sort of long term, or when you're racing, or do you just see the red mist and I can
fall into the impatient thing, and I kind of think, well, don't get past him now. He's holding me back. I need to get to the next person who's in front of him. But I think the way he should be looking at it is how Aaron said. knowing you've got the pace, just wait for an open door, make it easy for yourself, don't risk your race, and then crack on and just take it bit by bit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guilty of the red mist descending and just going for it. I mean, I've done my LFM league license over the last week, and the most important thing when you're doing that is to keep it clean. And unfortunately, with the rookie leagues, there's a lot of inexperienced drivers out there, and you think, oh, I'm faster than these, I must overtake all of the cars. And you start at the back with the best of intentions of keeping it nice and clean, and 2 laps in, you're like, overtake! And then you just end up getting hit from behind by somebody who doesn't know how to brake with a car in front of them. And so, yeah, I'm guilty of seeing the red mist myself. Easily done. I do it in real life, mind, when I go to the Nürburgring. I'm just going to do a cycle lap. I'm just going to do a cycle lap. 9,000 RPM! I can't help myself. You know, it's anyway.
Taking it easy.
Yeah.
Revving the lips off it in 4th gear.
Yeah, pretty much, mate. Pretty much. That's how it goes. It's all good fun, though. So we've got 7.5 minutes to go. Let's have a quick run through the field because there's not a lot going on. I'm just keeping an eye on this Balsili-McGee battle to see if anything's going to come of it. No, we'll just step away from it for. Oh, actually, no, it's getting pretty close now. We'll stick with it and see if Scott.
I knew it. Sorry, I'm just talking to myself. We were on about what's lips in Spanish, and it's labios. So
El Pioyo, Senor Pioyo Labios.
It doesn't quite work like that. So Spanish, because it's a friggin' nightmare, it flips the words around. So it would translate as Mr. Lips of Chicken, which is Senor Labios de Pollo. So that's his new nickname.
Mr. Lips of the Chicken. Oh.
I'll see you at the weekend, Dave. Don't worry, I'll come and see you at your house.
Nice.
I'll send you a postcard.
Nice. So
That's a bit creepy. Up.
Well, he only lives like 2 minutes away.
I'm only messing.
right, we'll stick with this into turn
I'll
1.
come see you, Doug.
We'll stick with this into turn 1. See if Balsili's got what it takes to get past the Jack. Doesn't look like he has. No. So McGee keeps the position. I think that is probably Balsili's best chance of getting past. So we'll just have a quick run through the field and see where we stand. So Kingston's still out in front then, 5 seconds ahead of Kevin Tarr. No sign of Kingston's tyres going off. Boo! We want to see some warm tyres and a battle, but unfortunately that isn't happening. Luke Barnard in 3rd. On for another podium. Done really well since joining the league this season. Darren Tickner in 4th. Kind of kept himself to himself. Bart Tonk's getting close to him now, mind. So while we got it in mind, we'll just stick with it, and we'll get Balsili's stream there, so you can see Balsili versus McGee at the same time. There we go. Technology, eh? So Tickner versus Tonks. Looks like Tickner's had the better exit there out of the final corner. Chris Carr then currently down in 6th. Damien Humphries in 7th, in a little bit of no man's land, but doing well. And I'm sure you'll be delighted with a nice solid top 10 finish there. Josh Copeland, who's been involved in plenty of action in this race. We've seen some good driving from Josh, some good side-by-side stuff. He's in 8th. Ant Brown in 9th. He's had a bit of a disaster by his high standards. I'm sure he wouldn't mind me saying that. Alex McGee, who's definitely a contender for drive of the race at the moment. Top 10, battling away, and had some really good side-by-side battles with 3 or 4 drivers already. And 4 drivers actually he's had good side-by-side battles with. One of them being Scott Balsili, but he just places his car nice and happy right in the centre of the road where Scott can't get past. Is Scott going to have the opportunity to make an overtake? No, it looks like McGee's got him covered once again. Richard Arnold down in 12th, Alan Davis 13th, so they're not quite the top 10 they wanted to be, but not far off. Ben Simpson in 14th, Dan Stevens in 15th, Dave Wood, what's his name?
Senor Labios de Pollo
is in 16th place in the South Park branded South Park. I don't know why. It just with between chicken and South Park, I just had a vision of that game, that South Park game with the turkeys. No, you're too young. You wouldn't remember it. Yeah, no, you wouldn't remember it.
Straight over my head.
Google the South. Oh, have a look on YouTube of the South Park games with turkeys. Honestly, it was bonkers. How they ever made any money off that, I'll never know. Our second Wesley Hackstein, is in 17th. Darrell Weaver's in 18th. Michael Mooney in 19th. Lloyd Reed in 20th after his disconnection, and Paul Prescott in the pits, and Graham Morris in the pits. It looks like he's made it in for race 2. So Dave Wood and Dan Stevens still battling away with each other. Looking for a way through the Lamborghini versus the McLaren. Balseeley still battling away with McGee as well. So yes, thinking about that, gentlemen, just a couple of laps left now. Drivers of the race. Who is your choice for driver of the race for race 1?
That's tricky because I feel like everyone's kind of like made a mistake, but
I think I've got
me,
one. Go on.
No, I was going to say I'm going to go McGee in the Jag. I think it's been a stellar drive.
Great minds think alike. I think he's done some really good driving, good bit of defending, good bit of battling, and he's kept it clean, I think, from what I can see or from what I've seen. So I would say McGee as well.
Yeah, for me it was going to be close between Humphries, who's had his best race for a while, Josh Copeland, because I think he's driven well, and he's battled his way through, and he's had some good side-by-side stuff as well. He's made up 9 positions as well. Or McGee. So seeing as you guys have gone McGee, I think that's enough of an incentive for me to go for McGee over my other 2 suggestions. But as my friend Aaron would say, commentators kudos, particularly to Damien Humphries, who's driven really, really well, and Josh Copeland, who's gained 9 positions and got himself up into 8th position. But I think based on where he's finished in most of the races so far, a solid top 10 finish, keeping some really solid drivers behind him, Alex McGee gets our vote for driver of the race for race 1. Anything you want to add, gentlemen, to that? Or?
No, I think you said that perfectly there.
Balseeley has lost a couple of positions. I'm not sure exactly what happened. Let me see if we go back far enough, whether we can see. No, we've missed it. It's too far. It's not gone back far enough. But Balseeley now behind Richard Arnold, so he's got himself up to 11th as Mr. Richard Arnold in the Honda. But Alex McGee has a bit of breathing space now as Balseeley and Arnold battle with each other for that position, which should give McGee that bit of breathing space he needs to finish the race in the top 10. No other major things out there. Graham Morris is out on track now, just getting a couple of laps in, a couple of sight laps ready for race 2. So at least won't be a total loss for him. So the leader has begun the final lap of the race. There he is, Alex Kingston. Going to take a victory, and I'm just trying to remember how many wins he's had this season, but the only way to find out is to have a look at the power rankings. Kingston, do you believe this will be only Kingston's 2nd win of the season? How crazy is that? And he's top of the championship. Yeah, it shows the ballast works, though, doesn't it? So he hasn't been winning races, but he's just been there all season, isn't he? On the verge of the top 3 or in the top 3. So yeah, that is why. So this will be only his 2nd victory of the season, but pretty much the victory that will solidify him being a double FDSR champion. He is the defending champion, of course, taking the title away from Adam Foster last season and defending it this season in a different car. And yeah, he's just been unbelievably consistent all season. And as we said, he's been the best at picking his way through the field, particularly in the sprint race 2s that have that reverse grid situation.
Yeah, and I think, to Do you know what? I was thinking about this earlier, Mike, and it's a little bit off topic and left field, but I think if Lloyd hadn't have had that disconnect and could have just hung on for like a solid 9th, with the reverse grid, I thought he'll have a good race too. And he still could if he joins back, but just a shame, really. Wait a minute, he is back, isn't he? Or did Doug say he left? I can't remember.
Who's that now? Lloyd?
Lloyd, yeah. I just thought with Kingston winning and he hung on to the midfield, he could have done well in race 2, which he's always struggled with.
Yeah, he did come back into it, but he's 4 laps down on the leaders. But there we go. Kingston takes victory. Kevin DeHaan comes home in a fantastic 2nd place. I think that's the best race Kevin's had in a long time. So huge congratulations to him. Luke Barnum picking up another podium. He's done well, as I said earlier, since he joined this season. He finishes in 3rd. Darren Tickner with a great 4th place. Bartonks in 5th. Chris Carr in 6th. Damien Humphries in 7th. Some really good finish for Damo. Josh Copeland in 8th. Really good drive. 9 positions made up in that race. Ant Brown giving him a little bit of post-race love there. I'm not sure that's going to go down too well with the admins when they see that post-race. The last time a driver did that, he got banned. So anyway, swiftly moving on. Ant Brown in 9th, Balseeley in 10th, Alex McGee. We missed it. Obviously, we were watching Kingston bring home victory there. Alex McGee did lose top 10, but that's not to take anything away from him. He comes home in 11th, Balseeley in 10th, Alan Davis in 12th, Richard Arnold in 13th, Ben Simpson 14th, Dan Stevens 15th. Dave Wood got overtaken again by him. He finishes 16th. Hackstein in 17th. Darrell Weavers in 18th. Michael Mooney 19th. Lloyd Reed 20th. Paul Prescott 22nd. And Graham Morris, who only basically popped in to do some cycling laps, ready for race 2. And that is that. So bear with me. I just need to get the Excel spreadsheet up because I forgot. No excuse, I know. Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Sorry, Rich.
It's quite alright.
Get the random number generator up.
As far as I know, this is normal, right? I mean,
He's just trying. You gotta get essential now.
I know.
The screen.
It's not working for some reason. It's all gone wrong. But
has it gone as wrong as a certain Radio 1 DJ's name?
It has, yeah. It's all gone P-Tong. You can't barely see it for some reason. It's just not working. So I'm just going to do it because I can't get it to line up for some reason. So there we go. This will do. So it's got Alex's number over the top of it for some reason. Here we go. Number generator is on the go. How many drivers are going to start? It is only the top 5 can't qualify.
Okay.
Everyone else can. There you go. You have
Lovely.
it there. There you have it.
Perfect. Thank you, gents. We will see you at the other end.
We will. So sorry about that.
Thank you very much.
For some reason, it wasn't lining up today, which is rather strange. But there we go. We'll just get out that and not worry about it. But yeah, Alex Kingston there with victory in that race. I mean, it's going to be pretty difficult for anybody to beat him in the championship now, isn't it, Doug? I mean, he's got a commanding lead. I think
he's comfortable there at the top, isn't he?
Yeah, even with dropped scores, it's pretty much almost guaranteed now. I would say mathematically that he is champion.
Also, a quick one. Where's Foster tonight?
He's on his hollybobs.
Oh, right.
He thinks he's allowed to have a night off. I don't know. He's cheeky, so.
No, it's all right for some, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right for some.
I didn't give him permission to have a night off, so I don't know where he got that idea from. Right.
Go.
Anyway, here we go. So, Quali 2 starting now. It's daytime, as you can see. It's a bit. Oh, it looks unbelievably bright out there, doesn't it? It's like a different world. So, race 2, I believe the time of day is 8 o'clock at night, so it'll be going dark as opposed to getting light like we just saw in the last race. But much shorter race, obviously, of race 2. So just to confirm then, via that live draw, that the top 5 drivers don't qualify for this second race, they will start at the back. Everybody else can qualify. So not as exciting as something as when we get 8, 9, 10 drivers. That makes it even more interesting. But just the top 5, so it'll give some people who didn't quite have the race they would have wanted a bit of a chance for this race too. And of course, despite them being different lengths, they're worth the equal amount when it comes to the points, which is obviously important. So yeah, the top 5 don't go out. Any hugely bold predictions, gentlemen, or do we think it's going to be a pretty straightforward one?
Ooh. You know what? I'm going to say it. Now he's got nothing to lose. I know he didn't really have that much pace in qualifying 1. Lloyd Reid, why not? I think we'll see something unbelievably special from Lloyd. Surely his mindset now is, well, championship's basically out the window. It's only a mathematical possibility now. I'll just chuck the kitchen sink at it, see what happens.
Yeah, I was just wondering why nobody was going out, thinking they're wasting time here. I didn't realise there was a short practice session between the sessions to give us time to do the live draw before they went into quali. I was thinking, nobody's moving. But that's because it's not quali yet. It will be quali in just a couple of seconds. There we go. And
green light, go.
We're in quali. There we go. So we should actually see some drivers going out now, which will be great. There we go. There's one of them, Alan Davis, going out onto track. Of course, different conditions now, Doug, with it being daytime. Track will be much hotter. But the advantage, as me and Aaron alluded to earlier, is you can actually see your braking points. You don't need your headlights and stuff. So swings and roundabouts, really hot track to deal with. 26 degrees, but you can actually see where you're going.
That's some sort of bonus. I assume tyre wear would be a bit more, as tyres could fall off a bit sooner, maybe. Or then again, it's too short for it to fall off, isn't it?
Yeah. So yes, you're right on both points. Basically, yes, they will obviously have a lot more wear and tear, a lot faster. But yeah, it's only a 20-minute race, so we shouldn't see any huge tyre degradation issues in this one, even for those carrying a lot of ballast. So, who are we going for pole then, Aaron? What do you think?
Well, I mean, I said Lloyd's going to chuck the kitchen sink at it, but I don't think that'll be quite good enough for pole. I know Richard bigged up Alan, saying that he's capable of going much faster. So, I don't know. Maybe it could be the guy we're watching. Yeah, it could be Alan Davis. I think we can't rule out Carr if he's on the track. He looked pretty solid in the Porsche as well. And Michael Mooney as well, you know, he seems to have this one lap pace, but struggled a little bit tonight. So that would probably be the most outside left field bet that I'd have. But I think I'm going to go for Carr in the Porsche, or potentially, yeah, Davies.
I'm going to say you're definitely going to be wrong. Because Ant Brown had a stinker, and
crap. Yeah, you're right. You are right. I forgot all about it.
I was just waiting for you to realise that Ant Brown didn't finish in the top 5, and I could hear the clogs turning. You know, clogs, or cogs. I hope the clogs been turning. I'm losing my mind, yeah. All good fun. But yes,
as long as you're not popping them. If you're popping your cogs, there's something wrong.
I'll try not to. Not anytime soon, anyway. There's a reason I've lost weight and tried to look after myself, and that's one of them. Being alive, or staying alive, as the Bee Gees would have said. Wow. This is this.
Have we got Barry Gibb live with us in the comment box?
I think we have here. Absolutely outstanding. Right, so
I didn't want to try and sing it because I feared I might make it rain.
Dreadful. Right, so here we go. We are watching Wesley Hackstein. He's a new driver. I'm not sure of his nationality, if I'm totally honest. But he's got a name like Wesley, so he's got to be half decent. because all Wesleys are. All the Wesleys in this league anyway. And as I call him half decent, he makes a huge mistake.
He's showing off his rally cross.
In Aqua Minerale Part 1. So there we go. But great drift though. Absolutely fantastic. Who's actually on a lap? Anne Brown is actually on a lap, catching the man we were just watching. So this is the man I think, barring any disasters we're expecting to see. I tell you who we haven't considered though is Graham Morris has joined for race 2. So he could be a potential pole sitter as well. He's got pace in the right car at the right track. We don't know how he's going to fare around here, but we'll find out very, very shortly. Alan Davis currently in first place with a 33.8, but I'm expecting that to be beaten a fair amount. We're about to see Ant Brown cross the line. Is he going to pop up to first? He does with a 42.4. Of course he does. 1.4 seconds ahead of the nearest car.
Sorry, I'm just I've seen a comment from Dom, and sorry to interrupt your flow again. I keep doing that. You can add the nationality of drivers on the tower info, says Dom, and excuse me, Adam Foster is also saying that the new Wes is also Dutch, so we've got 2 Dutch Weses.
Yeah, I was aware of that, but look, when I try to do that, look, it tells me they're all from the United Nations of whatever that is. Yes, I was aware of the feature, but as you can see, it doesn't work. I'm not sure why, but I've tried it several times and it doesn't work. Also in the bottom right-hand corner, it's supposed to tell you what country they're from, and again, it doesn't work. I've reported the bug back to ACC TV among a few other bugs as well, but not had any response at the moment. But thank you for your insight, as always. It is appreciated. But yes, it doesn't work. The United Nations of is where everybody's from. Right, so Ant Brown still out in front and improving on his time scarily, so he's about to be into the 41s again, so it's looking pretty set that he will be on pole and looking to make amends for what was a slightly disastrous race 1. And my phone has just flashed up. Manchester United are losing, so I'm not a happy boy. I don't think anybody's going to have the pace to challenge him, are they? It's just going to be a question of does he have a terrible start again and get pulled back into the crowd, and that's where his trouble stem from in race 1, really.
Put it in the right map.
Yeah, whatever you do. Why are you changing your map? I never change my map. Changing your map is for amateurs, or maybe it's for professionals, and that's what I'm doing wrong. I'm joking, of course. I haven't got a clue. I wouldn't know what changing the map did.
You can have it whether it's pointing north, south, west.
Oh, that kind of map, right?
Yeah, it's like a compass. It's like a compass.
No, I know there are different maps, and there are like quali maps and wet maps and stuff like that. But I mean, surely if you get your map wet, all the ink runs.
Yeah, it's pretty useless, isn't it?
Oh, the jokes are getting worse. Chris Carr currently showing as purple. Oh, a little mistake there, though. He's lost a little bit of time. Can he see the lap through and go purple? Ant Brown didn't manage to finish the lap that he was showing as purple on. So, therefore, stayed with a 142.4. Chris Carr currently improving on his time by 3/10. And if he carries on, will take pole position. Scott Balsilli's got himself into 3rd, Copeland into 4th. Carr getting the penultimate corner very right. He's gained a bit of time through there. Good exit out the last corner. Has he got enough to take pole position across the line? He's still showing his purple on the screen. It's going to be so close between those drivers. Oh, he doesn't do it by 1/1000th of a... No, sorry, 100th of a second. I got overexcited there. 100th of a second away from pole position there. Oh, I mean, that's less than a blink of an eye of just, shall I put the throttle on now? No, now. And it's that close, isn't it, Aaron? And all of a sudden you're in 2nd. But, oh my God, that was a lot closer than we thought it was going to be.
that's the difference. Like, we're talking millimeters there, aren't we? In one braking zone or something daft like that. But I said Chris Carr would get pole, and he's let me down, so I'm not very happy.
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple of corners where he came out with them over 4/10 up, which would have comfortably put him on pole, but not meant to be today. But somebody's still going round. I thought it ended, but somebody was still going round there, so apologies. I don't know who that was. Getting overexcited here, but yeah, a lot closer than we thought it was going to be, which is great for us. Obviously, it shows that he's got the pace to match Brown in this second race. So bit of a mixed up grid then. So we got Brown from Carr, from Balsillie, from Reed. Reed, I'm sure, will be desperate to put that that disconnection issue or whatever it was behind him. Josh Copeland, who drove really well in race 1, in 5th. Richard Arnold in 6th. Alan Davis in 7th. That's where they'll be hoping to stay to really challenge for that team's championship, with them being missing from next week as well. Adam Doherty is in 8th. Michael Mooney in 9th. And Alex McGee in 10th. Graham Morris 11th. Dave Wood 12th. Damien Humphries 13th. Darrell Weaver's 14th, Ben Simpson 15th, Dan Stevens, Wesley Hackstein, Kevin DeHaan, Bart Tonks, Alex Kingston, Darren Tickner, Paul Prescott, who obviously didn't manage to set lap time then. Shouldn't be at the back because that was only supposed to be the top 5, and then Luke Barnard right at the back. So that is who we have. So just a couple of minutes for the guys to prepare their cars and get the setup done how they want it, and then the race will be underway. So what do we think, Doug? Is Ant Brown going to keep it nice and clean and consistent this time round and get the victory, or are we going to see some argy-bargy?
I think Brown will lead, but I don't think Carr's going to make it an easy job for him. I think he'll lead, take the pole through the first couple of laps, and then I think Carl will be hunting him down, looking at the time going up difference in qualifying. Carl's definitely more than capable of keeping him with it.
The thing is, Aaron, at a circuit like this, the Porsche is going to be better around 90% of it. It's just this long start finish straight, isn't it, where the Aston's going to have a huge top speed advantage.
Yeah, I think if Carr really wants to win this, we're looking at, he needs to have a deficit coming out of that last corner, really, doesn't he? It seems to be that when he got mugged off Humphries, I think he was within a tenth, maybe it's 2/10. So I think if he's got a 4/10 swing coming out of the last corner, he'll hold on to the lead all the time. But that sticks in the back of your mind, and that's how mistakes happen, because really you have to nail that one part of the lap. All Ant Brown would have to do is nail the tiniest part and the easiest part, which is the last corner in the straight.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the difficulty in it. The beauty of it, though, as we've said before, with all the different types of cars that are different strengths, different weaknesses, better at some circuits than others, and it does keep it interesting for us when we don't know which car's going to be strongest each week. Although you have a good idea of which drivers are going to be towards the front, any one of those 5-6 drivers could take a victory, and that's what we've had this season, which is telling, really, isn't it, Doug, that Kingston has just taken his second victory, one race before the penultimate race of the season, and he's been top of the championship all the way through.
It's all about that consistency, just attending every race, competing every race, and just doing a decent job. It's not about going out there and absolutely winning and leading the race every single race. It's about just attending, doing your best, and as Kingston's done, took his second race win this time around.
Yeah, we've had lots of different victories as well. If we look at the power rankings, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different race winners this season. I mean, Lloyd Reed is second in the championship, challenging for the championship, and he hasn't got any wins. I know you alluded to it, Aaron. You've had similar in the touring car league, haven't you, with people being immensely competitive without necessarily winning a race or many races throughout the season.
Yeah, case in situ, right here.
Yeah.
I think I've had one race win, and I mean I was third going into last week until I had my stinker, but it just shows, I mean, like, everybody who's in the top 8 has only had a minimum of about 1 or 2 wins. There's no one who's had a massive advantage, and Doug can vouch for that.
Definitely, it's very, very competitive. And I think,
It's been mad, hasn't it? It's been unbelievably close.
and I think it's just, again, it's about, as we were seeing in FDSR, it's about that balance and just evening the field out, and then it becomes about consistency and finishing each race, and not being over competitive, not trying to taking risks where you don't need to take risks, and playing it safe a bit sometimes.
It basically turns into like acceptance, doesn't it? Of, well, I'm not going to win, but I won't come last. Where I finish is where I finish, and you end up with like a completely mixed field because it's different every week.
Yeah, I think that when I was in it, that was kind of the attitude I always took. Is, you know, I knew I was never really going to be a race winner very often, but I always had the pace to be competitive, and it was just picking my battles and being sensible and trying not to get disqualified with too many incident points, etc. But I'll shut up now because the race is about to start, and here we head into race 2. So here we go, 20 minutes of action as we head down to the first corner. Much better start there from Ant Brown, but he is still under pressure from the Porsche. Ant Brown, of course, does have the inside line for the first corner. A couple of people kicking up dust there in the background, but Ant Brown makes it through now, through the first couple of corners, and he's safely through. Chris Carr in second, Lloyd Reid in third. There's been some contact between Dave Wood and Alex McGee in the background, just a little nudge by the look of it, nothing too serious. So Brown from Carr, from Lloyd Reid to be desperately trying to get past both of these cars and win this race. Richard Arnold in fourth at the moment. Oh, that was really close to being contact there with Scott Balsillie. You can see Balsillie stream there if you want to see an instant replay of him almost hitting the Honda. Take a look in the bottom left hand corner of our main stream there, and you will see that coming up very, very shortly. Doherty and Copeland nice and close together as well in the background. Their car really challenging now, and Brown struggling to pull away from the Porsche. We said the Porsche should be stronger through this part of the circuit, and that looks like it is the case in the early part of this race too. And Brown still holding him off though. As you see Carr, but Reed's there waiting to pounce in the background as well, desperate to make amends after that disconnection in the first race. A bit of a gap then back to Richard Arnold, who's peering to hold up a couple of drivers as he tries to protect his current fourth position. Carr with a nice exit there. This will be where the Aston will need to pull away, but it's a terrible exit from...
he's gone wide!
A terrible exit from Brown. He got onto the throttle way too early, off into the kitty litter, and that's cost him the lead. And I think...
the one place he didn't need to worry about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Reed's going to be interested as well. I think Ant Brown's done well to accelerate and keep ahead of Reed here. Reed playing the sensible card, just tucking him behind. But Ant Brown going to have a difficult job getting past that Porsche of Chris Carr.
Balsillie past Rich as well. You're going to see it in that bottom left corner very shortly.
Yeah, rather than go to replay, you can just see it on the start finish straight there. The Honda not getting the best of exits. Honda is one of the best for top line speed, but that BMW just had a much better exit out of the first corner. Nice and simple into the first couple of corners. Great racing from those two. Balsillie's had some contact. Richard Arnold's had an off as well, so we will just pop to the replay so we can see what has happened between these guys. So this is Balsillie and Arnold battling away. Just an off. So Copeland and that make their way through, and then Davis and Arnold tucks in behind. McGee is down to 14th, so I don't know what has happened there. I think Arnold and McGee might have some contact in a moment, which we're going to pop back another 30 seconds and have a look. There we just see they made contact at the top of the hill, and everyone did really well to avoid Richard Arnold there. Was just sort of sat in the way. But yeah, McGee and Arnold making contact then. That is a huge shame. So Ant Brown now trying to pressure Chris Carr, and Ant Brown has got past Carr. This is still the replay at the moment. But Carr now back past Oh, it's flicking around all over the place. And Brown has got back past car. So let's just take a quick look at this. I think he was down the start-finish straight. Did what he should have done on the lap where he lost the lead. And just kept it simple out of the last corner, and his straight line speed going to be an advantage down into turn 1. There we go. Past he goes. So that is what you missed. So it's still pretty close though, and Amber has shown tonight he's got a mistake or two in him, hasn't he? So it's certainly far from over.
Definitely, I think he does have some demons on his track, so I think Carl will be waiting to pounce again.
Biggest losers in the opening part of this, so Luke Barnard down in 21st, and Richard Arnold down to 15th now after battling for 4th. I'm sure he'll be hugely disappointed with that.
Dagger in the heart. A dagger. Oh, he's gone off. Oh, has he got damage? Like massive damage. I mean, to totally cause that.
No, I think he's lost his head. I think he's probably frustrated now after what's happened. I think he's just lost his head because there was only a little tap from McGee. There doesn't appear to be any damage on the car from what you can see. So that is a shame. Right, back to the action then. So you've got Dan Stevens, Ben Simpson, Dan Tickner, and Alex McGee all pretty close together. Ooh, what?
Oh, no, just I thought there was a move brewing, but it didn't really turn out that way. I'm a bit gutted for Carr as well. I thought he might have held on to the lead for a bit longer.
Yeah, it is a shame, and he is dropping back from Ant Brown. He appears to be asserting his dominance out in front. But here we see Stevens versus Simpson versus Tickner versus McGee. 4 cars all pretty close together. I'm really impressed with McGee tonight. I know we had our driver of race 1, but he's really driving with confidence in that Jag. Maybe it's just a good car. Oh, mistake from Stevens! Hit the curb way too hard. That cost him a position to Simpson. And I think it might end up costing him a couple of positions. He places his car right in the middle of the circuit so nobody can get past him. Beautiful West livery on that McLaren, but that'll be a small consolation after that mistake has cost him that position. But could have been a lot worse going over a big curb like that, couldn't it, Doug? Could have thrown the car up in the air and he could have ended up halfway down the field.
Definitely, I think he's half got lucky in a way, I suppose.
Could have done his best Mark Webber impression there, couldn't he?
Yeah, we don't want to see that. That would,
that man had a special talent for flipping cars somehow.
Yeah, he's done it more than once. But obviously, the most famous one being the Porsche, I believe, wasn't it, at Le Mans? I think.
Yeah. Yes. Or was it the Mercedes?
I'm not sure. I think he did it in both, didn't he? But the one was particularly famous, wasn't it? Was it the Mercedes that was the one where?
Yeah, where he ended up basically in the woods.
Yeah. I can't remember. Yeah. He's had his moments, but great driver, great personality. So still nice and close between these guys. Then we do good. As always, we digress. As always, we end up talking about F1. But you know, I missed all of testing today because I was on a course, so I'm going to have it on tomorrow, hopefully, while I work in inverted commas. Here we go then. Tickner versus Stevens as we head down to the first corner. This is the battle for 10th place. Dan Stevens, getting super close there. He couldn't put a piece of paper between them. It was so tight. But Dan Stevens holds on to the position. Great driving. And there's Michael Mooney off in the foreground / background. Or actually, he's being lapped, so he's just got himself out the way of this. What is fastly becoming a 6-way battle for 10th position. Or 5-way battle, sorry, I got a bit overexcited. 5-way battle here. McGee getting up alongside Tickner now. Dan Stevens still holding on to that position. You can see Simpson has just got himself away from this battle. Humphreys at the back of this battle now, looking to work his way through. He's just behind Hackstein, both those drivers in the Audi. One black, one that Gulf McLaren sort of blue colour. We see a lot of cross liveries. God! That was super close there, Tickner and Stevens. How they didn't make contact, absolutely bonkers. These guys are doing so well to race this close together, all in a row. But the problem here is if Humphreys at the back makes a mistake and causes an accident, he's taking 5 cars out in the process, isn't he? which hopefully doesn't happen. I'm not wishing for that, but that is a problem sometimes, isn't it, when you're all so close together.
I know, it's only good until someone makes a mistake, isn't it? I mean, that sounds like the blatant obvious, but you'd be surprised how many times we've seen it happen, not necessarily on stream, whilst it's probably because it's us causing it.
Yeah, I mean, Tickner's got a lot of damage, so he's not going to have a lot of straight line speed here, but Humphries and Hackstein are getting proper close together. Humphries going to the inside, now he's going to be later on the brakes down in the first corner. Is he going to get past? No, Hackstein cuts him off. Humphries dives out of it, but he's got a much better exit through turn 2 into turn 3. Is he going to be able to get past the fellow Audi at this point? He's going to go to the inside. I don't know if he's going to be able to make it stick there. No, he's not. Oh, there's a mistake from Hackstein, though. Hackstein gets a little bit too much curb, loses the rear end, and off he goes, and it becomes a 4-way battle for 10th position. Tickner has got past Stevens. We've just missed that, so I'm just going to take a quick look at the replay and see if we can see, while we were watching Humphries get past Hackstein with Hackstein's mistake, how did Tickner get past Stevens? We're running out of time on the replay. I'm hoping it happens pretty soon. Oh, it's a mistake from Stevens. That is what got it done. There we go. We did just about get to see it. So Tickner goes through. Stevens then down to 11th. He's under pressure now from McGee. Getting swarmed. That poor McLaren driver. He's not happy in the McLaren. We know for a fact he cannot wait to drop it. We've had that conversation with him. Probably going back to the Porsche next season, from what we understand. For the football fans out there, Manchester United have equalised against Barcelona, so I'm now slightly happier than I was 40 minutes
Praise
ago.
the Lord.
Yeah, back in the tie. Anyway, back to the racing. Dan Stevens defending now from 2 drivers. The pink McLaren, Honda you see in the background is not in this battle. It's a lapped car. So a 3-way battle for position. It's getting proper close out there.
Is this going to end in tears?
Oh, another mistake from Stevens. That's going to cost him. And McGee squeezes past. Stevens just blocks off Humphries, but Humphries is going to be really keen to get involved here. And even Mooney's getting involved.
Oh, sorry, it's Mooney.
Yeah,
it's not him,
Mooney's getting involved, and he's not even on the same lap as these guys. But he's like, oh, I want a bit of this. This looks like great fun. So he's sticking a nose in anyway. Oh, Humphries getting properly on the brakes, and he makes it stick. What a move from Damien Humphries. And
that came from absolutely nowhere.
Oh, but he just went too late. And
Stevens is back through.
Dan Stevens with the switchback gets himself back through. Absolutely brilliant driving from these guys.
I just nearly broke the chair.
And do you know what? This just shows the absolute talent we've got in this league. I mean, these guys are, 12th and 13th in the championship. They're nowhere in terms of the championship battle, but this is the type of quality we've got all the way through the field. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Doherty, it shows, has lost a place to Davis. So we'll just pop on the replay and see if we can see how Davis has made that happen. Mistake from Doherty, I believe. Out of Aqua Minerale and then into the chicane. Alan Davis goes through just ahead of him and gets that done. So what we're going to do now is switch off the replay and pop back to the battle with Damien Humphries and Dan Stevens. Lloyd Reed is through on Chris Carr. Chris Carr's had an off. So what we will do is pop to the live action. Humphries is alongside Stevens now down the start finish straight. He's had a better exit out the last corner. It's going to be tight between them. Last of the late breakers. Oh, he cuts across in front of him. Stevens then tries to go to the inside. Humphries makes it stick. So we're just going to pop. Oh, there we go. We just see the back end of it basically. That is Carr making a mistake through the first couple of corners and ending up off the circuit.
Good for Lloyd Reed, though.
It is good for Lloyd Reed, but Kingston has battled his way. You're just about to see him overtake Doherty. Kingston has battled his way up into 7th. So he is so good at being patient, though, isn't he, and picking his way through traffic, as we've said so many times, which is why he's so high in the positions gained. But Kingston is
alien.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed. But Kingston there, as we say, they're up into 7th now, and less than half a second behind Alan Davis, so that'll be 6th, you would think, before long. Davis, I'm sure, will put up a stern fight, but it's going to be hard for him to have the type of pace that you need to keep someone like Alice Kingston behind, and that's nothing to be ashamed of. That is for sure. Well, it's all settled down a bit now after all that absolutely bonkers action. Believe it or not, there's only 6 minutes left because the first 14 minutes have absolutely flown by. So let's just have a quick run through. So Ant Brown's still leading. Then out in front you can see Lloyd Reed, his nearest rival, there in the background, 5 seconds behind. Yeah, go for it.
We need the race gaps. That's the lap time gaps.
Oh, yeah, we do. It's been so exciting.
Sorry, I've only just realised myself.
Yeah, sorry, I have to switch it between quality and race, and I basically sometimes forget. So a couple of battles poking up here. So I was about to do a run through, but you know what? I'm not going to, because Copeland is proper close to Chris Carr now, and Kingston is close to Alan Davis. So we'll keep an eye on both of these battles. You can actually see them in the same shot briefly there, Carr with a little bit of a mistake there. Copeland just trying to have a look at the inside car. I think he's got his hazards on for some reason. I'm not quite sure why. I'm assuming he's pressed the wrong button. But Copeland unable to make the overtake stick at that point. Let's just pop back to the Kingston battle. Oh, it looks like he's had a better exit there. Has he had to get out of the throttle there, or has he managed to keep it in to come alongside Davis and get into the braking zone first? He has. And a great move there, Aaron, to get himself up into 6.
I suppose you can say that's pretty PDF, couldn't you? We've got to plug it in every stream. We have to say it once.
Absolutely. Sorry, I was taking a drink. I was starting to lose my voice.
Oh, it's all right. We're basically on commission at this point for Adobe PDF.
New sponsor.
As long as the inventor of PDF doesn't come to us and start wanting some royalties, then I'll be annoyed. But here we see Copeland getting up past Carr. Copeland up into the podium position as well.
Balseeley.
And Balseeley past Carr as well. Carr does have damage. You can see that he's got damage on the front end, which I'm assuming he picked up when he went off the track. Sorry, go on.
No. Sorry for butting in again. It's been my toxic trait this evening, but I was going to say, at least he's done the sensible thing, you know. He's well aware of what his pace is now, and he let the guys go. Didn't really put up much of a battle, but you can't in those circumstances, kind of guys.
No, you kind of just have to accept it and just go, we've got damage, you've got to let the other guys pass it, I'm off a fair race.
Yeah, there's no point spoiling someone else's fun just because, you know, your car's not in the zone it should be.
No, exactly. I mean, it's easy to be selfish, isn't it, in that situation? But it's great to see him being very sensible, as you say, and realising that, you know, he's just going to end up causing an accident if he tries to battle too hard. Because it's situations like that where you suddenly have a snap of oversteer or something, you know, and the car, you just lose it. And we're just seeing Richard Arnold get past Dan Stevens there through the chicane, and through he goes. Richard Arnold back up to 13th after those early adventures, and so Kingston the next to catch up to Carr now, and he's got a couple of other cars close behind as well in Alan Davis and Adam Doherty, so he could well end up down in 8th position by the end of it now. And this was all from that damage caused by him having that off in through the first couple of corners after running second at the time. But he's got, I think that must be why he has his hazards on, is to make other drivers aware that he is driving with significant damage. So again, fair play to him. But there goes through Kingston, just no pace on that Porsche. Anyway, down the straights, never mind with damage. But Alan Davis looks like will be the next to overtake Chris Carr, who's going nowhere but backwards at the moment. And you've got a feel for him, haven't you? He's just helpless in this situation, Doug.
Yeah, it's just one of them. As he's doing there, just getting people by, you've got to kind of accept. Got the damage.
Yeah, Davis just got a little bit wide there, and Carr. Oh, Carr's
After we picked him up, and he's balled it. Chris Carr, no.
I don't know quite how that happened, but what we will do is take a look at the replay, and we will jump on to see what it looked like from Carr's point of view. So that is Davis getting past. So yeah, Davis just didn't have a good.
Right, man, leave it on the final lap.
That didn't quite work, did it? We didn't get to see it, but there we go. So here's car then. Doherty still there in the background. So they just kind of as they were, so that's not too bad. Morris is a couple of laps down. I was going to say he's sort of. I'm wondering why he wasn't in this battle. Humphrey's close to McGee as well. So they're on the final lap now. Anne Brown leading from Lloyd Reed with Josh Copeland now in the final
podium position.
Final podium position. Yeah, sorry, I got I got distracted by something shiny.
He's my shout for drive of the race, by the way. Just while you do your race rundown.
Copeland.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was so close to getting it in race 1, gaining 9 positions. He's done really well
Really
today.
Agree. Oh, hang on a minute, Mike. Can we give it to Copeland? He's not brand new, is he? Or are we allowed to actually give it to Copeland?
Well, he's not going to be entered into the championship this late in, because I think he only joined last week, didn't he?
Yeah. So he joined last week, so we can give it this week, can't we?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
That we can. 2 races, I think, is the rule, isn't it? If you're not there for the first race.
I think I had PTSD there because I think twice in a row I give it to someone who joined in the first week.
Yeah, indeed. So yeah, car.
Sorry,
no, that's fine. Car still going backwards, but here's Ant Brown in, just going through the last couple of corners for the last time, and he will go over the start-finish straight to finish this race as a race winner. Probably something that should have happened in race 1, but for a dreadful start. And he handed the victory to his good friend Alex Kingston. Ant Brown wins. Lloyd Reed will come home in 2nd place. I'm sure he'll be pretty pleased with that, though disappointed overall after that disastrous first race with the disconnect. Josh Copeland comes home to take a podium, and our driver of the race for race 2. Scott Balseeley with a very well driven 4th, and after qualifying in 3rd. Alex Kingston comes home 5th. Alex Kingston gained 15 positions in that race, just to give you some context. Alan Davis with a superb 6th, kept his nose clean and comes home in 6th place. That'll be great for him and Richard Arnold in the Teams Championship for Team Rad. Ben Simpson in 7th, Tickner in 8th, and Doherty in 9th. He was involved in a bit of action here towards the end. And Alex McGee once again with another top 10 finish, just ahead of Damien Humphreys. Chris Carr in the end down. He's gone into the pit lane, so I'm not sure if he's actually losing these positions. I think, yeah, he hasn't taken the checkered flag. He went into the pits before he'd taken the checkered flag. So Chris Carr actually comes home in 15th position. Oh, that'll be disappointing for him.
Ouch.
A couple of drivers jumping in there. Oh, he's had a drive-through, I think. That's why he's had to serve a drive-through. That makes sense. A huge shame for him. He had to serve a drive-through right at the end. Last couple of drivers then. Hackstein 13th, Arnold 14th, Pat Tonks in 16th, Graham Morris 17th, Barnard 18th, Dave Wood 19th, Weavers 20th, Kevin Tahan 21st, Michael Mooney in 22nd. There we go. That is all she wrote. So let's get myself sorted here. Let's get the stream up and running. Let's get that out of the way, and we'll get into our drivers' interviews. So, the middle part of that race was absolutely hectic. Any particular takeaways from yourselves, boys? It was all a bit bonkers, but any particular parts you enjoyed?
I enjoyed all the battling, to be fair. I liked the intensity of the battling and people really going for it. It's a bit more rough and ready, which I enjoyed, I suppose.
I enjoyed that little Dan Stevens battle in the trail of 5 cars behind it. I don't know why. I think it's because I'm not used to. We don't really watch much of Dan, or when we do, it seems to be a bit of an error. So it was really nice to see him battling away and holding on and doing well.
Yeah, it certainly was. I'm just going to stop streaming because you guys don't need to see yourselves on screen, do you? Yeah, so here we go. And I tell you what, we'll go to Dan first because Dan, I mean particularly that second race, you were involved in pretty much every piece of action on the circuit. It was great to watch. How was it to drive?
It was quite fun. At one point, I was like, "Oh, I'm getting a nosebleed on P8." And then more traction. I got lucky. I've got to be honest. At the start, don't really know what happened, but it just sort of slowed enough, and it opened up. And that's where I gained everything. And then, they slowly come past.
Ah, but you didn't make it easy for them. You battled them all the way, and like I said, as long as you're battling someone, that's what makes this league fun, isn't it? You know, that's what it's all about. Is as long as you're having a battle with someone, it's worthwhile.
Oh, it's great. I love battling with people as much as you can. You can hold them up as best as possible.
Yeah, I mean, and the good news is you're only one race away from dropping that car now, so.
Yeah, that's what I said in the first race. I was like, hey, only one more after this.
Almost there, mate, almost there. But no, well, like I say, it was great driving today. Great side-by-side stuff. And I thought those battles are really entertaining, so I'm sure you'll enjoy watching them back on the stream. But well done, mate.
Thank you. I'm sure I will.
Dougie, over to you to ask the next question. I'm nominating you.
So I'm going to go to Rich and just say, obviously, some good racing there from you tonight. Obviously, a few hiccups, but how did you find it yourself?
Yeah, like you say, it wasn't the most straightforward of nights, but for some reason I just had real fun around there tonight. It was probably sort of some of the quickest laps I've done around there, and I was just racing loads of different people. So, yeah, I mean, probably not the results I wanted, but great racing. Had a real good battle with McGee and Balsillie, and me and Dan had a bit of a ding dong in the last go. It was all over the place. Loving it, absolutely brilliant.
Right, we've seen the same thing on our side of things as well. We were saying how entertaining it was. Obviously, it was a bit of contact, but that's what naturally comes, I think, with this sort of racing when you are closer. Like you were saying, you're having more racing than usual, so it is going to cause a bit more contact, I think.
Yeah, I mean, McGee's probably the Alex. There was a couple of incidents, one in race one and one in race two. And in race one, I tapped him, and in race two, he tapped me. I don't know whether it was, a kind of getting me back or whatever, but I don't care. It was great fun, and yeah, it was looking good in race two for a bit. I was up at P4 for a little bit of it until that happened. But like I said, just had fun. It was usually when you get hit and you get sent to the back, you get up stuck on your own. But Imola's just one of those tracks where it wasn't long before I caught up to Dan, and I was having a race with him, and then I ended up spinning it on turn two because I was chatting to Alan on comms and missed my brake point, so went straight over the grass. And then after that, sort of Bart came up behind me, so I had a race with him for a couple of corners. So yeah, it was all over, all over the grid, and yeah, great racing tonight. Not the results we wanted, but yeah. I'm happy, smiling.
Would you say it's one of your highlights then, one of your favourites from the season?
I only in the way that I was telling Alan and a couple of the boys before, I really didn't like this track. Alan was saying that you need to go to Imola, you're going to love it. You're going to love it in the Honda. And I started it on Wednesday, and I've been racing for practicing for a couple of days, and just was not clicking until race one, and suddenly it all just started falling into place. And now I love the place. So yeah, it's definitely some of the closest racing I've had. Not the results I wanted, but yeah, had a great night. Had an absolute blast tonight. It's been good.
The main thing is you had fun. Sometimes it's not always about the results. Sometimes.
I've got a smile on my face.
There you go. Well, I'll pass over to Aaron.
Awesome. I'll go to Damo. Damo, you there?
Yeah. How you doing?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Yourself?
Yeah. Again, repeat what it was just said. I got a big smile on my face. So it was good crack, that.
Well, we saw you put an unbelievable move going into the hairpin after Villeneuve. It just came from absolutely nowhere on Dan. He managed to get back past, I think, but we were absolutely blown away by it.
I was hoping I was on the stream because I thought I'll put it on the inside because everybody was taking the wider and he moved to the outside, and I thought I'll have a little go, and I realised I wasn't going to make it. So then I obviously tried to make sure that he had the inside line so he could come back up, which he did. So yeah, it was really good understanding, and obviously I overshot it slightly, so gave him the space at the inside, and up he went. I had a great who was it overtook me in race one? It went for about 4 corners from turn 1 basically all the way down to the hairpin. I can't remember who it was now, but that was good as well. Really enjoyed that. Second race, what happened? Spinning cars everywhere, and there was this gap And it was just like the heavens opened and the sun was shining. I was like, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it. No, no, somebody clipped the back end, pirouetting off into the wall, right to the back of the grid. But then head down, caught up to the back of that train where there's about 5 cars, and I think it was McGee. I was all over him, but just
Yeah.
on the straight, I couldn't. He had a bit too much pace, but I really enjoyed it. Yeah, it was really good crack. Yeah.
It's weird, really, that you say that, because I think out of all the cars that are available, the Audi's probably one of the slippiest in a straight line. And to say that you're struggling, and even though, like, we were watching McGee in the Jag, and it seemed to be really hooked up all the way through the lap. So that Jag must have some like grunt behind it, kicking it down the straight. So
Yeah, the Audi's been a bit of a strange beast this season. I mean, part of it's me. Yeah, part of it's me. I was driving a front engine rear last season, so switching. So it's taken me till about now to figure it out, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like it's a bit twitchy and a bit nervous, but it's not particularly fast, and it hasn't particularly got a lot of grip. So it's like, well, I'm struggling to see what it's really good at. Really. But,
well, I was just thinking myself that, like, seeing you in the Lexus and cars like that in seasons gone by, and you've always been at the front of the midfield, if you like, or on the verge of challenging for podiums. It just seems like it's not clicked at all this season, but that would make a lot of sense now with you saying that.
Yeah, I think Ash was also in the. I think it's only me and Ash in the Audi. We always seem to pick the car that comes out of passion. It's like, this car was great last season, and then they nerfed it or whatever. So there we're just messaging each other, and we're like, well, "Can you get it?" No, no, no. And then we're looking at the quali times, and we're within a few tenths of each other. So it's like, well, it can't be all less. I know I'm not the greatest driver, but if I'm matching Ash's times, it's generally quicker than me. I'm doing okay.
At the end of the day, the closest person you can compare yourself to is your teammate, and he's in the same car as you as well. So if you're doing the same lap times and you're languaging in the same sort of areas, and considering you've changed the philosophy of car as well, you can't really grumble at that. It's just the way the cards have been drawn, sadly, for the Audi this season.
It is. I'm going to wait till a week before next time until they do the update, because they always do it the week before the season starts, and I'm going to pick whatever the hot car is and see if I can trouble the front. But like I said, I really enjoyed it tonight. It was battles and crashes, and it was. I'm sure it looked good on the stream because it was great to race in.
No, I agree. I suppose you kind of answered all the questions for me, really. You talked yourself through both races, so I don't have anything more to add, really. But
people say I talk too much.
I suppose the only thing I would ask is, what do you see yourself, and I suppose you're going to team up with Ash in next season?
I have no idea. I don't get a huge amount of practice time. So with the Audi, Ash did a bit of practicing and stuff. He's like, "Oh, we'll go with the Audi or whatever." It's like, "Oh, grand, that's fine." Because he sent me the setups and things, and I just make a few little tweaks if it's a bit too twitchy or whatever. So I'll confer with my brother and listen to what he says, basically.
Cool. Sounds like a plan. I'll back that. Ash knows best. Cool. Well, that's all from me. I'll go back to you, Mike.
Thank you very much. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Mr. Alan Davis. I always feel like I'm playing QI when I say that. How you doing, mate? Yeah, good couple of races there, I think. You seem to keep your nose clean for the most part, which is obviously the most important thing. And in race 2, took advantage of the carnage around you and kept it clean. Good, solid top 10 finish. Was it 12th in race 1 in the end? I think so. Yeah, there or thereabouts. But I mean, we were talking to your teammate before the race about that team's championship. It's tantalisingly close. If Senor Foster has a bit of a stinker next week, you never know. You might well be in with a chance of it. But yeah, 2 good races from you today.
Yeah, race 1. I had pace tonight. I didn't have pace. Don't get me wrong. I didn't have top 5 pace, but I wasn't as slow as I normally was, so I felt confident. Race 1 was a bit of a nightmare start. I'm normally quite good off the starts, but I think I was just sat in behind Scott, and we both just got pinched 2 or 3 times. And I think I lost about 10 places by the time I got off the end of the first lap, so that turned into a recovery drive. which was an interesting few laps. I had a car that was a lap down that was faster than me, causing me a bit of a few nightmares going into a few corners, so I had to keep it right on my toes. But was really happy to fight back to 12th or 13th place. That felt like a good result. Race 2, yeah, that was actually I was really enjoying that. I think I made a comment a few races ago where it's nice to be on the front foot, and I think it was Doherty or I was chasing down, who was all over me at Suzuka, and the situation had flipped, and I was putting pressure on him. And I think I said to Rich on comms, it's like, if I had a proper pass, he hasn't spun, I've actually overtook someone, which is rare for me. I just felt on it. I don't know what happened to Carr at the end. I don't know if he'd run out of fuel or had a damaged car.
The damage it was he
was
made
damage.
he made a mistake into turn 1 a couple of laps before, and then he was just tumbling on the field. Yeah, his front end was destroyed.
Yeah,
so.
he had his hazards on, but yeah, I was really happy with that. I felt on pace when Kingston came past me. I was expecting him to just disappear, and I think only finished a couple of seconds behind him. So yeah, it was a lot of fun and some useful points that race 2 for the team's championship. I think next weekend might be drop scores, because I think Team Rad might have blown the budget on on hospitality. So we may be absent next week off on a team build. So
no, well, I can vouch for the fact you got pace from me, because you kept me behind you on Tuesday, and I'm no slouch around Imola. It's my favourite circuit to drive, so I couldn't catch you. So yes.
Better than the Nordschleife?
No, yeah. Well, on this software anyway. You know, if this had the Nordschleife, I don't think I'd go to bed. I think I'd be on it about 24 hours a day. Yes, we need the German Championship to be installed, please, so we can have the Nordschleife and Hockenheim for that matter as well. Anyway, yes, great. I mean, yeah, fingers crossed. Obviously, it'll pull you guys into contention for the teams, and you never know. But obviously, Dan's scored some good points for his team tonight as well. So we'll see. But
we're maybe watching it from a ski chalet next week, but if we can't get a connection, just thank you, gents, for all the stream. It's absolutely brilliant. I appreciate your work. If we don't get a chance there next week,
well, thank you very much. But hopefully we'll get a chance to join us, and you can be our Dominic Ingalls in the chat, giving us all the insight. So do some practice on Mazzano before you go, and you can give us the insight then, the inside scoop, while you're sipping a beer with your feet up next to a warm fire in a chalet somewhere. But enjoy your trip regardless. And anyway, that's enough about your trip. Let's get back to the drivers' interviews. And Dougie, I believe it's your turn to ask a question.
It is indeed, and also I've just been made up for tonight because United's just gone 2-1 up against Barcelona.
I did notice.
Anyway,
I had to do my very best not to scream at the top of my voice while talking to Alan there.
But anyway, I'll go over to Mr. Lloyd Reed. Obviously, I think first race you had disconnection, led to believe, but second race I think you came second, so I think great recovery, I think, from obviously a disconnect and on the podium. How did you think?
Yeah, indeed. I mean, I'm assuming you can hear me okay, yeah? I'm just on a headset.
Yeah, I can do, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I mean, basically the driver just crashed for the video. I've had it a few times on the sprints, but it's the first time with this graphics card that it's happened, but yeah, pretty gutted. I really wanted to do well to try and boost the points and everything. It's a shame, really. I think I had pace here. I was quite enjoying the track, really. Did seem to struggle when I rejoined in race 1. I don't know what it was, but I kept spinning that bloody rear end. I kind of feeling like I was just probably pushing a little bit too hard, braking too late maybe, and then putting the throttle on a bit too much angle on the steering. But then, yeah, race 2, a bit disappointed with qualifying. I had a lot better in me, but just time just ran out. It's obviously a hard track to really push and keep it valid. So, yeah, you know, second row is not too bad, and Scott just dropped back straight away, which I don't know if he was just being sportsmanship for his teammate. So, yeah, I did think it was going to be a third place, and then Chris said on the chat that he just forgot to brake, which it did seem to be a terminal damage on that thing. But yeah, I must admit, it did feel comfortable. The drops back at the end, you know, it's such a big gap that the last thing I wanted to do was just to ruin it. So even though I had 20th on the first race. I think it's better than my last drop score in total. So yeah, I'm happy to bring it back.
Definitely, you should be really happy. Obviously, sometimes after a disconnect, you can sometimes lose your head a little bit sometimes, but it was good enough.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm quite glad I come back in race 1 to at least have a little stint. I don't know the rules too well to know what was going on with Alan, because obviously I was causing him a bit of grief. But, should you hold back or should you try and get past? And Alan eventually must have got too annoyed with me and just let me past. But then I just lost it trying to push too hard, ran a corner and ended up going to the pits with terminal damage anyway. So yeah, I got it all out of my system, I think, at the end of that race, and then kept it together for race 2. So yeah, it's worked out well. I mean, the guys in the championship, Wes and Josh wasn't there, and Wes has obviously had some issues. So yeah, I think it's put me in a better position. And I think the last race is endurance, and I think my lowest score there is a 5th. So kind of quite happy where it's ended. But yeah, good race overall. I enjoyed it.
Perfect. I know, obviously,
if only Ant hadn't joined, I'd have had 2 first places now. Really annoying.
And also, you're heading towards the end of the season. How do you feel you've done on the season? Are you happy with how you performed?
Yeah, I'm honestly over the moon. I feel like I've really, really turned a page and been up fighting with the guys. I mean, there's like today, Ant and Alex, they're both putting 41s around Imola, which is just crazy pace. Yeah. So there's still tracks where I can definitely improve, and there's obviously certain technical parts of tracks that I'm struggling with, but generally, maybe on the like Silverstones and stuff where it's a bit of a fast and long winding track, I seem to keep up pretty well. So I'm totally over the moon. I mean, to be second at the championship with these guys is it's just phenomenal, really.
You definitely you've done really well this season, some great racing, and again, I think we've mentioned it numerous times before, but you've had some massive improvements over the season as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it does come from practice, definitely, but I think there's certain points where you just learn something and it just kind of clicks a little bit, and I think that's what's happened. It's hitting the apex a bit more, where I never really was worried about that in the past.
Yeah,
but you kind of learn that that's where the few tenths are, and yeah, it's been a real great season. So yeah, loved it.
Perfect. Well, I'll pass over to
your commentary as well, obviously.
Phenomenal. Perfect. Appreciate that. I'll pass over to Aaron for the final person.
Cool. Well, I confidently said that for the last few weeks, and every time I've said lastly, it's not been the last person. So I'm pretty sure it is this week. It's Dave Wood. Second week racing. How's it feeling in that Lambo now? Having you've had some time to get some practice in now and get used to your new wheel and the new setup. Are you settling in, or are you still struggling a bit?
The Lamborghini is the most horrible creation in the world.
I thought you might say that.
No, it's just not a good car around Imola.
Right. Just more track specific.
It doesn't like curbs, and Imola is all curbs. So
yep.
I managed to get the hang of it though, because when I first started at the beginning of the week, I was in the 148s, and in qualifying for race 2, which it's a good job the race chat isn't streamed live because the amount of swearing I did. I was on for a 142.8, and on the final straight, just before you get the line, there's that little red bit on the side. I cut that a little bit too much, and it invalidated the lap. So yeah, there was a few choice words said. Race 1 was going all right, but I think it was Brown in the Aston sent me to make some sandcastles, and about lap 2 or 3, and it sent me right at the back, and it was just recovery from there. I think I got back to 15th or 14th, which wasn't bad. And then race 2, me and Weavers were 2 Lamborghinis button heads really. I took him out accidentally at the chicane, and then the following lap he repaired the favour accidentally, so it was more just playing about with the back.
hey, you still got to finish though, and you did that. You grinded out the result in a car that clearly just isn't suited to this, so you can
it's
only give you
horrible.
kudos there. Yeah, exactly. So
I'm looking forward to Misano because it's a track I know well, and I'm currently getting a South Park livery made for the McLaren, so
nice.
I'll be racing in that.
Cool. Sounds like a plan. And I think you'll be pleased to know as well that we've gave you a Spanish version of your nickname. So from now on, you are now referred to as Senor Labios de Pollo, which is just Mr. Lips of Chicken. So,
I'll
so
leave
that's
you
it.
to say that because I won't remember
Yeah.
that.
That's it, mate. Going forward, you are Senor Labios de Pollo.
I'll tell you what. Send me a message with that, and I'll get it put on the car somewhere.
Richard's making chicken noises, I think, laughing or something.
But no, cheers for the commentating, lads. It's always good watching back.
Don't worry about it.
But
And,
yeah, send me a message with that. I'm getting it put on the car.
yeah, I will. Don't you worry about that.
No worries.
I'll tell
Thank
you
you
what,
very much.
I do panic when I speak to you, Dave, because I get more Teesside when I speak to someone from Teesside, and I'm worried that people can't understand what we're saying.
Most people from South say we sound like Geordies, but
I
that's a bit of
know.
an insult.
Boo. Nope.
I thought you were Geordies.
Oh my god. Don't you start. Right, we digress anyway, and thanks for your time, Dave. Appreciate it. So we'll go back over to Mike to sign off.
Yeah, I know the difference. I got family in Ingleby, Barwick, so I'm alright. English family. Sorry, did I say that out loud? I joke, of course. I digress. Right, yeah, anyway, thank you. That is it. Another week down. We've got 1 week to go. As you can see on your screen there, season finale next week will be at Mazzano, an endurance race, and that will give us our final championship standings. Still plenty to pay for. The championship battle looks like it might well be over, but there's still plenty of positions to be gained and lost, and that team's championship is still very much up for grabs as well. So we look forward to welcoming you all to Mazzano next week. So we will be back, same time, same place. Thanks for watching, and see